The God-tier internet cafe in one piece. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 101. Above the ice. When Hawkeye realized that Wang Fei was close and planned to block or counterattack, he found that it was too late. Wang Fei's fist had already slammed into his abdomen, and his abdomen was deeply sunken. An extremely strong electric current came from Wang Fei's fist, and in an instant it had already traveled all over Hawkeye's body. There was another bang, and the electricity that traveled through Hawkeye's body converged and exploded in his abdomen. Hawkeye's body flew out in this explosion, slammed into the ice, and slid for nearly 10 meters before he could stop. It took about 10 seconds before Hawkeye stood up. Poof! Hawkeye couldn't help but spew out a mouthful of blood. And that blood sprayed on the white ice, which looked extremely bright. Wang Fei was stunned. He was a little surprised that Hawkeye could stand up again. It looks like he still has the ability to keep fighting. It's really worthy of being the world's #1 swordsman. I don't know enough about the moves derived from magnetic storm currents. It seems that this move is not enough to defeat him. Wang Fei said secretly. The eagle eye on the other side seemed to have recovered some physical strength after spitting out a mouthful of blood, and he held the black knife with the same excited look as Wang Fei in his eyes. It's good. I haven't been hurt in years. You make me excited. Except, Wang Fei said with a smile as soon as he finished speaking. Wang Fei rushed forward again and engaged Hawkeye. This time, Wang Fei was not going to use a knife, because it was obvious that he would not be Hawkeye's opponent if he fought swordsmanship. The magnetic storm current was fully opened, and Wang Fei covered his limbs with electric current and then began to engage in close combat with Hawkeye. There were frequent explosions on the sea, and each explosion meant another collision between the two. Wang Fei surrounds Hawkeye, or attacks with flashing fists or electric leg whips, and the moves are like raindrops, that is, dense and fierce, and Hawkeye is also comparable. In the battle with Wang Fei, the black knife in his hand is either chopping or cutting or stabbing, and each knife can accurately find the weak point of Wang Fei's attack, forcing Wang Fei to withdraw 3% of his strength to dodge. Of course, the trouble of Hawkeye itself is not small. Every attack of Wang Fei carries electricity, and the paralysis brought by the current directly unloads Hawkeye's 4% of strength. The two sides came and went, and in a very short period of time, they collided with each other for nearly 100 rounds. Hawkeye was covered in tears and embarrassed after so many rounds of fighting. And the internal injuries are not small. Wang Fei is even more miserable, and every knife of Hawkeye is aimed at his weak point, so he sometimes can't dodge, and a wound will be left on his body after nearly 100 rounds. Wang Fei added 10 wounds to his body, several of which had even left marks on his bones. In close combat, the two fell up and down. Another round of confrontation. Wang Fei twisted again, and the reverse flash unfolded again. In the previous confrontation, the reverse flash can be said to have helped Wang Fei very much. If it were not for the strange displacement methods such as the reverse flash, then Wang Fei would definitely not have been able to fight with Hawkeye for so long this time. Wang Fei performed another reverse flash, and he came above Hawkeye's head, but Hawkeye seems to have understood Wang Fei's habits in nearly 100 rounds, and can already judge the position where Wang Fei will appear every time he backflashes. When Wang Fei shifted again, Hawkeye didn't look at it, and the black knife slashed directly towards the head. Oops! Wang Fei, who had just appeared above Hawkeye's head, secretly shouted that it was not good. He never expected that Hawkeye could judge the position where he appeared after the reverse flash. At the moment of the attack, Wang Fei threw his arm. Magnetic field. Disturb. The next moment, Hawkeye suddenly felt that the black knife in his hand was attracted by an extremely strong suction force, and this absorption force forcibly changed the attack trajectory of the black knife, guiding the black knife to forcibly split to the other side. Good opportunity. Wang Fei's gaze froze. At this moment, the Hawkeye attack deviated. It was a good opportunity to attack himself. He raised his foot and stepped directly on Hawkeye's head. It's just that this step is not an ordinary step. Thunder! Wang Fei's foot stepped down with electric light, and at a critical moment, Hawkeye forcibly moved away from his position and avoided the point. Wang Fei's foot stepped on Hawkeye's shoulder. Hawkeye bit it, forcibly resisted the force coming from his shoulder, raised his sword and directly split a destructive sword key at Wang Fei's face. Magnetic storm shield. Wang Fei crossed his hands in front of him, his feet slightly bent, and a blue electric shield appeared in front of him. barely blocking Hawkeye's destructive sword ki for him. But although he blocked this move to destroy the sword ki, Wang Fei himself was also beaten into the sky at a height of 100 meters. Just before Wang Fei was sent flying, he smiled at Hawkeye. Wang Fei's smile gave Hawkeye a very dangerous feeling. But he didn't know where this feeling came from. Suddenly, boom, thunder suddenly sounded in the clear weather, and it was this thunder that raised Hawkeye's sense of crisis to the limit. Thunderclap. Above the cloudless sky, a bolt of lightning suddenly appeared. This lightning bolt is not very thick, about the size of a steel pipe. But the next moment this lightning bolt appeared, it shone the sky blue. Lightning slashed down from the sky, and the target pointed directly at Hawkeye's shoulder that had just been stepped on by Wang Fei. Hawkeye looked at the thunder that came from the 9 days, and his heart was beating wildly. Armed with a black knife, he slashed 3 times at the descending thunder in a second to destroy the sword ki. The sword ki exploded above the sky, and the thunder fell. Filu reminds you, 3 things to read. Collect, Chapter 102. Boom, a loud noise came. People looked up and saw the thunder that was hit by the 3 swords of the eagle eye, and the power had been reduced a lot at this time, but it did not disappear. The sky was dyed blue, and at the same time as Hawkeye's 3rd sword slashed out, thunder, and even in front of him, blood spill. From the appearance of thunder, the 3 knives of Hawkeye, and the fall of thunder, the whole process takes less than 2 seconds. When people opened their eyes that were flashed by thunder, a blood hole had appeared on Hawkeye's shoulder, and a collarbone was obviously broken, and the entire shoulder was also scorched black. Although the thunder just now was fast, it was still easy for Hawkeye to move his position. But why didn't he move his position, but instead slashed 3 swords into the sky? Because he knew that even if he moved his position, he could not dodge the attack of the thunder, and he faintly felt that the kick that Wang Fei stepped on his body was not an ordinary kick, but a positioning on his body. As long as that positioning was still there, no matter how hidden, he could not avoid a bombardment of lightning, so he chose not to run away, but to slash 3 swords to the sky to reduce the power of lightning. And the facts also proved Hawkeye's idea. Wang Fei's kick was the target of the thunder fall. Thinking of this, Hawkeye couldn't help but rejoice. Fortunately, he didn't let Wang Fei step on his head in the first place, otherwise his head is estimated to be gone now. Hawkeye and the rest of the audience are amazed at the horror of Wang Fei's move, but Wang Fei himself is not very satisfied with this move, because according to the teaching, when the thunder is used, the lightning will fall at the same time as the foot. And the lightning delay fell. It seems that it should be Wang Fei has not practiced home. This kid is so strong. Originally, I read the report and thought that he just had some strength. I really didn't expect it. A shop owner can also have such terrifying strength. Hawkeye shook his head. It seems that if I don't come up with some tricks, I really have to explain here today. After speaking, Hawkeye looked up at the sky and looked at Wang Fei, who was shot into the air by him. He raised a black knife above the head of the country with one hand, and silently said in his mouth, "1 heart for the sword," and the sword to the sky. After his pupils shrank, and his eyes stared at Wang Fei tightly for a second, Hawkeye closed his eyes, and the black knife in his hand turned and changed to a blade to the sky. Immediately after, Hawkeye slashed with a black knife. Aoi, a line of heaven. Hawkeye slashed down. This stroke seemed simple, but after receiving the knife, a terrifying sword ki permeated the surroundings. Then the sword ki rushed up. That sword ki was as thin as a silk thread, and it rushed sideways towards Wang Fei, who was getting down and down in the air. The sword ki was very slender, and it didn't seem to be powerful, but when the king saw it, his face changed. Although the sword ki is delicate, the heart is infinite. It doesn't seem strong, but the air has been cut to burn. It seems small, but I'm afraid it's back to basics, condensed. Being able to fight such a powerful sword attack, Hawkeye really deserves to be the world's #1 swordsman. Wang Fei in the air could not help but praise Hawkeye even as an opponent at this moment, and such an opponent was indeed worthy of respect. The other party has already moved the real thing, and it is already impossible for me to block this move without using the corresponding big move. Wang Fei's hen, who fell from the sky, was thinking about countermeasures while falling. On a cloudless sunny day, the sky heard the sound of an arc flowing in the sky. Immediately after, the arc exploded. Wang Fei, who was high in the sky, seemed to turn into a thunderbolt sun, shining this side of heaven and earth into blue. The current continued to explode. Wang Fei in the air was mobilizing the magnetic storm current energy hidden in his body. Countless currents came out of his body, and the thunder and lightning sun that wrapped Wang Fei was also getting bigger and bigger. The next moment, Wang Fei's roar resounded through the heavens and earth. Extreme electric dragon claw. Boom. As Wang Fei's voice sounded, the thunder sun exploded and began to melt, and the thunder and lightning that melted into turned into a thunderbolt dragon up to 100 meters long in a blink of an eye. The thunder dragon raised its head to the sky and roared. Wang Fei and the dragon began to fall head down, and the thunder dragon also poured down from the sky. Hawkeye's first line heavenly sword key rushed upwards. Wang Fei's thunder dragon poured down from the sky, and two different energies collided together from mid-air. Boom. After the two energies collided together, there was a huge explosion in the sky, and the huge energy aftermath dispersed countless clouds in the sky, and its momentum overwhelmed countless people underground. The thunder dragon exploded a 100-meter-long arc, and the dragon claw tightly grasped a line of heavenly sword key against it. The blue of the arc and the flames of the sword key cutting air reflected two different colors in the sky. Finally, with the passage of time, the thunder dragon was completely shattered by the blade of the sword key, leaving only the dragon claw, and the sword key was also consumed by the thunder dragon's current energy. Wang Fei's arm turned into dragon claw, and after being blocked by the sword key, he quickly rushed down from a high altitude. Aim for Hawkeye below. Boom. The dragon claw grabbed a black knife that was erected. A huge force mixed with terrifying electricity came from the dragon's claws, and Hawkeye finally couldn't stand it and knelt on one knee on the ice. Boom. The huge energy from the dragon's claws was transmitted above the ice. Cracks in the ice began to spread. Click. The cracks began to extend into the distance. Boom. Boom. Finally, unable to withstand such terrifying energy, the 20-meter-thick, tens of miles of ice all exploded and shattered into ice floes floating on the sea. End of chapter. This is the first time this book has written a real sense of the word, and I don't know if readers like it or not. The fox really tried his best, got up early today, and started writing at 8 o'clock in the evening, thinking that he could go to bed early. I didn't expect that it took 4 hours to write 9 dozen scenes. It's already 5 a.m. Really tried. 5555. Philu reminds you, 3 things to read. Collect. Chapter 103. On the beach in Rogue Town. Tens of thousands of onlookers were silent at the moment. The shocking battle just now shocked them, and the collision scene between the thunder dragon and the sword key was so spectacular many people may have never seen such a shocking battle in their lives, and the ice ocean that collided for tens of miles was all shattered. Above the sky, the sea water that was bombarded into the sky was falling, as if it was raining heavily, and many people on the coast were already soaked in clothes, but none of them noticed it, because none of them had yet recovered from the battle just now. Nami and Dazen were the first to react. What happened to the battle? How is my husband? Why haven't you seen anyone yet? How is the network administrator? Why hasn't it appeared yet? The two women were anxious. Others also reacted, all worried about the outcome of the battle and the safety of the two. Little Luling, how is your big brother? Nami asked anxiously. Luling nodded and said, Big brother and that uncle with a knife are not in danger of life. I can still feel their breath. They should be able to appear soon. That's good. Nami breathed a sigh of relief and Kingsley turned his head to look at Xiao Luling. He always felt that this little girl was very extraordinary. More than 10 minutes passed. Wang Fei and Hawkeye still did not appear. And no one left the onlookers on the coast. Nami and Daxinkian walked back and forth on the coast anxiously. If it weren't for Xiao Luling to assure Wang Fei that Wang Fei was fine, maybe these two women would have already found someone to search and rescue at sea. The sea surface is choppy. Countless ice floes collide with each other with the waves on the sea, and the gloomy and cold breath makes the temperature of the air drop a lot. At this time, Xiao Luling's blue eyes flashed and spoke. They came out, over there. Little Lauren pointed his finger in a certain direction. Everyone looked in the direction that Luling was pointing in surprise. I saw two figures appear blurrily on the sea. It was Wang Fei and Hawkeye, a huge ice floe on the surface of the sea. Wang Fei was climbing onto the ice floe with Hawkeye on one shoulder and a black knife with Hawkeye in the other, and when he climbed up, Wang Fei seemed to rest on it for a while. After resting, Wang Fei took up the eagle eye and grabbed the black knife, and quickly walked towards the shore under his feet. As soon as she set foot on the shore, Nami, Kingsley and the others came and asked if there was anything wrong. Wang Fei forced a smile. Look at me like this. It looks like nothing happens. Everyone noticed Wang Fei's physical condition. In the previous collision, although Wang Fei broke a line of heavenly sword key, the power of that sword key was really not small, and with only the dragon claw left and no thunder dragon protection, Wang Fei was also uncomfortable. His clothes were tattered, and his body was full of fine scars, as if he had been cut by 1,000 cuts. But fortunately, Wang Fei's physique is relatively special, so he can still hold on, and the super recovery of the water spirit body has caused many of the scars on his body to begin to heal, and Wang Fei's support Hawkeye is not so lucky. He was bombarded head-on by Wang Fei's dragon claw, and did not have a perverted physique like Wang Fei, so his whole body was already scorched black, and his internal organs were also seriously damaged. Although he was still awake at the moment, he had no strength to speak as for the victory or defeat of this battle. It is already clear, one can still stand well, and the other has no strength to speak. And the victory and defeat can be seen at a glance. Not wanting to stay on this coast any longer, Wang Fei carried his eagle eyes and squeezed through the crowd and returned to the internet cafe surrounded by Nami Kingsley and a few other acquaintances. Because of such a thing as Hawkeye today, Wang Fei did not have the heart to start any business. And the internet cafe was suspended for one day. In the internet cafe room, Hawkeye had already laid down to rest, and his Chang was surrounded by Kingsley, Smog, Wang Fei and others. Wang Fei has changed into clean clothes, and after half a day of recovery, the injuries on his body have healed by half, and this water spirit body is really worthy of a super physique. Looking at Hawkeye, who had fallen into coma, Wang Fei couldn't help but rub his forehead. He squatted down and touched little Luoling's head and said, "Little Luoling, do you have a way to save that injured uncle?" Little Luoling scratched his head. Yes, 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 however, he is not an ordinary person, and it should be fine in half a month to ask a doctor for treatment. Right? If you want me to treat him, my food for the week has been in vain. Poof, Wang Fei couldn't help but smile, and he said patiently, "No, Big Brother has urgent matters to discuss with his uncle. You can help Big Brother well, you can eat whatever you want in the evening." Really? Little Luoling's eyes flashed. Well, go and save him. Little Luoling came to Chuang's side. Extend. Two hands with some baby fat came out and stuck to Hawkeye's heart, and then the room was filled with dazzling blue light. Hawkeye is wrapped in a blue light mass and suspended in midair. Then the wounds on the body began to heal at a speed that could be seen with the naked eye. Kingsley and Smog on the side looked at each other and found that the other had a look of disbelief on their faces. When the two looked at Luoling again, their gazes were no longer the same. Luoling has not seen it these days, but they didn't expect that this little girl who only knows how to eat all day would have such a magical ability. At the beginning, I also laughed at whether Wang Fei had a lollican, and actually picked up a girl on the street who could eat 780,000 berry of food a day, but now I found out how can this Wang Fei be so lucky. To see the ununderlined version of the novel, please download Philo Chapter 104. There are 2 more, all of them will come out around 9 o'clock, please readers don't be impatient. Well, today, the day after the end of the battle with Hawkeye, because of the sudden appearance of Hawkeye, the players who came from all over the East China Sea to participate in the 100 Cities League all left this morning, and although there were several twists and turns, this first 100 Cities League was also a successful end. In the room, Wang Fei opened the task list and checked the tasks he received. The first stage mission requirements, the amount of props charged for the Rebel Elite CS reaches 500 million berry. Mission rewards: 400 computer sets and an open online game, Crossfire. The second stage mission requirements: 20,000 registered players in the Crossfire closed beta. Mission reward: 300 sets of computer sets. Turn on the virtual reality game mode test qualification. The third stage mission requirements: hold the Crossfire East Sea 100 Cities League in Rogue Town. Once the winner is held perfectly, you will be rewarded with a mission. Mission reward: virtual reality helmets. 5,000 units. This task was a task that Wang Fei received shortly after he came to Rogue Town, and he completed the tasks of the first 2 stages early, and the tasks of this third stage were also completed after all the players left today. After pondering for a while, Wang Fei pointed his finger to submit the task. Ling. Congratulations to the host for successfully completing the third phase of the mission, and you have been rewarded with a mission. 5,000 virtual reality game helmets. Mission items have been distributed to the backpack, please check them. How you finally completed this task, Wang Fei breathed a sigh of relief. Then he looked at other tasks. He now has 2 tasks left. One is to defeat Hawkeye and invite him to endorse the game Dungeons and Warriors in the future, and the other is to go to the naval headquarters in Malinfeder to open an internet cafe. Alice, it's time to go to Hawkeye to talk about the relevant situation, Wang Fei said with a smile. He left the room and headed in the direction of the room where Hawkeye was. In the room, Wang Fei and Hawkeye sat opposite each other, and the two were tasting the wine they had just gotten together. Thank you, Brother Wang Fei. If it weren't for your help, I'm afraid it would be difficult for me to walk for more than half a month with this injury. Hawkeye spoke. Wang Fei smiled and stopped. If you want to thank you for this, it's better to thank Xiao Luling. You can just invite her to a meal. Oh? Yes, I'll treat her to a good meal tonight. After saying that, Hawkeye turned his words and said, no, you are really ruthless. Wang Fei laughed. Each other what to each other? Look at my knife. With that, Hawkeye took him out and handed him over. Wang Fei looked over and couldn't help but feel embarrassed. This black knife left 3 deep claw marks on it, which were obviously caught by Wang Fei's extreme electricity dragon claw. That, or I'll pay for you to fix it. No need. Hawkeye rejected Wang Fei's kindness. I won't mend 3 claw marks until I defeat you. Forward, all right. Wang Fei scratched his head. Then before I talk about you, I have one more thing I want to ask you, Hawkeye said seriously. In the process of fighting you, I feel that you don't seem to be too familiar with your own strength, and your strength doesn't seem to be fully exerted. Wang Fei nodded and acknowledged Hawkeye's opinion. Actually, I have this strength, but I have no chance to use it, and the opponents I have encountered in the past are too weak. I couldn't fight to the fullest, and I couldn't understand the power and use of my moves. For example, the original thunder pedal, it should be the thunder and the foot falling together, and when fighting with you, there is a delay of about 3 seconds, which is my lack of understanding of skills. And frankly, you're the first person I can get me to take seriously. Hawkeye was stunned for a moment. You mean to say that you haven't used your full strength yet? Wang Fei nodded. To be honest, I fight in a place where there is water, and my attack power can be increased by at least twice as much, but I didn't use this advantage to fight you, and then I still have a move that I just figured out a few days ago. The move of Azure Tsunami is useless. According to my estimates, this move should be several times more powerful than Extreme Electricity Dragon Claw. The corner of Hawkeye's mouth twitches. After 2 minutes, he reluctantly spoke. Okay, I know. If you have anything to talk to me about, just say it. I'm going back to practice. Hearing this, Wang Fei immediately clapped his hands. This is exactly what I want to talk to you about today. Hawkeye came interested. Oh? Tell me about it. Next, Wang Fei told Hawkeye the news about the virtual reality game. You mean, are you going to create a virtual game world? And after getting stronger in the game world, the real body will also receive feedback and become stronger? Hawkeye asked in disbelief. Wang Fei nodded, and then said, that's right. By the way, you will definitely like my new game. There is a character in it that is very suitable for you. After speaking, Wang Fei called the system in his mind again. Hey, system. Show me the video of DNF White Hands. Since you want to fool people to help advertise, then you have to show people dry goods, right? Ling. Allow the host's request. Immediately afterwards, a light curtain appeared above the void, and the video of DNF Sword Soul and Skill display began to play on the light curtain. Wang Fei also began to introduce Hawkeye to the game, as well as the background and skills related to Sword Soul. After a few minutes, the video was played, and during this process, Hawkeye kept staring at the video, and in these few minutes of skill display, he seemed to feel something within reach, but I always feel that there is something missing. It seems that you should have to play it again to fully understand it, Hawkeye said darkly. Wang Fei on the side looked at the contemplative eagle eyes, and couldn't help but smile proudly. To see the ununderlined version of the novel, please download Philo Chapter 105. Brother Hawkeye, I can see that you have gained a lot of insights from this role, Wang Fei said with a meaningful smile. Hawkeye's brows frowned. Well, you are right, I am indeed quite interested in this role, and it has given me a lot of inspiration in swordsmanship. Wang Fei also agreed. Different people look at the same thing differently. For example, ordinary people only think that this is just a bunch of data when playing games, and gorgeous skills are just stunts, but in the eyes of powerful people like Hawkeye, it represents a different scene, and ordinary people think that this is just some special effects, because ordinary people can't do the moves in the game at all. Hawkeye, on the other hand, doesn't think so, because he can do some of the in-game moves himself, and many of the moves of the Sword Soul in the game can inspire him a lot, which may mean standing higher and seeing farther. Wang Fei also nodded and said, it can indeed give people a lot of inspiration, but it is only inspiration. Unless you really play this game, it is really difficult to get real insights from the video. Saying that, Wang Fei glanced at Hawkeye again. I wonder if Brother Hawkeye likes it. Very interested, Hawkeye answered directly, without flinching. That's easy to do. Wang Fei clapped his hands and said directly as soon as he turned his hand, A game helmet appeared in his hand. The game is still about 15 days away from being developed, and this helmet is the tool to enter the game. Here Wang Fei lied. Yesterday he asked Kingsley that it would take about 15 days to get from Raga Town to the naval headquarters in Malenfido. The DNF can only be opened at the headquarters of the Navy, and Wang Fei can only claim to Hawkeye that the game was developed 15 days later. Tools to get into the game? Don't use a computer anymore? Hawkeye wondered. Yes, Wang Fei nodded, flipping the helmet in his hand. Wang Fei continued, this helmet is much more advanced than the computer, and the virtual reality depends on it to run. The video I just showed you is just a rough simulation, and the real VR game is immersive. Hawkeye nodded. Then the game you just talked to me about, but the virtual reality game? Yes, but you won't be able to experience it until the game is released, but I believe you should get more experience by then. Yes, Hawkeye looked at Wang Fei again. Say, what do I have to pay to get it? Hearing Hawkeye's words, Wang Fei knew that this must have happened. He smiled and continued, since it is still under development, the trial can only start after 15 days, which is called the closed beta, and the person who gets this helmet will be the first player to play. As for the long world that games have to expose to the world, so you should be able to understand, right? Since the game can make the real body stronger, it means that the first player can get more benefits. Hawkeye did not speak. He looked straight at Wang Fei and motioned for Wang Fei to continue. Wang Fei paused and continued, and there is only one thing I want you to do, and that is to endorse me when I release this game in the future. Gone. It's gone. Yes. I promise you. Wang Fei smiled. Good. Then happy cooperation. By the way, since the game will change the pattern of the world once it is released, it is very important, so I hope you will not leak any news of the game when you try it out. Yes. I can guarantee this. Hawkeye had a slight joy on his face. At the next moment when Hawkeye promised to come down, the sound of the system sounded. Ling. Congratulations to the host for completing the mission, defeating Hawkeye and successfully inviting him to endorse the game Dungeons & Warriors mission rewards. 2,300 computer sets, 6,000 VR game helmets, all bonus items have been distributed to the backpack, please check it. Finally completing the task, Wang Fei was in a very happy mood, and he handed the helmet to Hawkeye. Then it's okay to put on a helmet after 15 days. By the way, since there's more than one player in the trial game, it may be a little unfair to Hawkeye brother, so as compensation, I will tell Hawkeye brother here that the virtual reality game hides the deepest secret. Saying that, Wang Fei posted to Hawkeye's ear and whispered the third function of the virtual reality game to Hawkeye. Bang! The next moment, the game helmet in Hawkeye's hand fell to the ground. The secret Wang Fei told him was so shocking that he was so shocked that he didn't even take his helmet. Brother Wang Fei, what you just said, seriously? Wang Fei nodded. When I first learned about this function, my reaction was the same as yours. The shock on Hawkeye's face had not yet subsided, and after a long time, he picked up the helmet on the ground, and the look on the helmet was like a treasure. If this function can really be realized, then the world will already be under the control of Wang Fei. I really didn't expect to hear such news one day. Brother Wang Fei, you're such a great man. I can't wait to put on this helmet. Then I hope that this news must also be kept secret. This is natural. I can still tell the difference between such a big thing. After talking, the two sat opposite each other, talking about some combat experience and the like. Hawkeye's rich combat experience made Wang Fei gain a lot, and the timing and control of the battle also greatly improved. At noon, Hawkeye left and returned to the castle on the Great Passage on the throne ship. P.S. I'm too confident in my hand speed. The fourth was released around 10 o'clock. To see the ununderlined version of the novel, please download Philo Chapter 106. Early the next morning, an explosive news shocked people all over the world again. The owner of the internet cafe fought with the world's #1 sword. How? And Hawkeye lost? Today's headlines are printed with such a huge headline. This title attracted everyone's attention, and when I continued to read on, everyone was even more shocked. This article was written by Daxinki, because Daxinki often reports about the relationship between the internet cafe owner and the internet cafe game, so most people are already familiar with her, and many people even speculate whether she and the internet cafe owner have a relationship, but they did not expect that her news reporting the internet cafe owner this time was such shocking news. There is a picture and a true image. The internet cafe owner fought with the world's #1 sword Hawkeye after the end of the internet cafe 100 Cities League yesterday. But the reason for the battle was mentioned by both of them. In order to prevent the two from injuring innocent people in their battle, Mr. Kingsley froze the sea surface on the coast of Rogue Town as a battlefield for the two. Mr. Hao Kingsley said that the site is about 20 meters thick and has a range of nearly 30 nautical miles. But when the last move of the two collided, the entire ice battlefield was completely shattered. The battle between the two is spectacular. 1,000 words omitted. Finally, Wang Fei, the owner of the internet cafe, used the power of electromagnetism, extreme electricity. The Dragon Claw successfully broke the Hawkeye's first line Heavenly Sword key and defeated Hawkeye. It is worth mentioning that the two did not fight or know each other, and shook hands and became friends after the battle. Then, the newspaper also accompanied the scene of the two fighting, and also marked the two people's move skills next to the accompanying picture. For example, the scene of two people colliding with each other in the sky and one underground, such as the scene where Wang Fei helped Hawkeye ashore after the battle. As for how did Daxinkian know the names of these skills? That day, she carried the camera and pestered Hawkeye and Wang Fei for a whole day, and the last two were so annoyed that they could only accept her interview. According to Hawkeye, if this person hadn't been a friend of brother Wang Fei, I would have already slashed her with a knife. I've never seen such an annoying woman in my life. On the Great Passage, Luffy held the newspaper in his hand and opened his mouth. Oh, Huan Wang Fei big brothers. Kakichi. Even Hawkeye was defeated by him. Feet Solon, it seems that your guess is correct. Brother Fei of Shell's Town must have helped us in the first place. Solon glanced at the newspaper, did not say a word on his lips, but sighed secretly in his heart. It's really worthy of Wang Fei. I didn't expect to have already defeated Hawkeye one step ahead of me. Somewhere in the sea, Hawkeye took the newspaper that delivered the letter to the seagull. Cut. This nasty woman. What a lot. After speaking, he threw away the newspaper. But, brother Wang Fei, I didn't expect you to have such strength at a young age, and your game will definitely change the whole world in the future. I'm really looking forward to the reaction of the people of this world when you reveal that secret. New world. The redhead was stunned with the newspaper in his hand. It's hard to believe that a shop owner has such strength, and with such a strong strength, he is only willing to open a store as a boss to make money. Alice. But there are not many people. The owner of this internet cafe is quite interesting, and I have to go to the internet cafe to have fun. But then again, I didn't expect that even Hawkeye brother lost, and he still lost when he used a line of heaven. This little shop owner is really office of the Navy headquarters. After Sengoku put down the newspaper in his hand, he still decided to make a call to Kingsley. Hello? Is it childish? Is something wrong, Marshall? We should start leaving tomorrow. Oh, it's okay. Just call to comfort you next. I didn't expect that the mission goal this time has such a high strength. No wonder you have not completed the task for so long. It's really hard for you. Childish. Don't worry. Take your time and try to pull him into the Navy. Kingsley, I'll hang up if it's okay. Wait. Feed. Hey. Inside the internet cafe, Wang Fei is still sitting at the bar as usual drinking tea. Today's newspaper he also read. For the newspaper reports he does not mind. After all, the internet cafe business is getting bigger and bigger. In the future there will inevitably be people peeping into the interests, so it is good to be able to announce their strength, at least to deter many people, and their own strength declared the world. The deterrent effect seems to be very good. The original noisy internet cafe with no order to speak of has also changed. After this incident, the pirates on the internet have quieted a lot, and they can honestly queue up without a trace of complaint when paying money. This made Wang Fei very satisfied. Hey. Management. I'm coming. The bar counter was slapped with a slap, and Wang knew who was coming without looking. Why are you here? Wang Fei said leisurely, picking up the freshly brewed tea and just about to taste it. Alice, give me. Daxinkian snatched Wang Fei's tea and poured it into her mouth. I'm dying of thirst, but the network administrator, you are really bitter about this thing. I don't know why you drink this thing every day. Wang Fei was depressed. If you don't like it, don't grab it. Louds a 600,000 berry pounds of tea. Alice Network administrator, you are really not cute at all. Why do you care about these details? Daxinkian scratched her head and said, by the way, network administrator, what do you think of my report today? Wang Fei gave her a blank look. It's good to write, but I suggest you be careful when walking in the evening. Why? Because Hawkeye will most likely come back and hack you to death. It's okay. Isn't there still a network administrator? You unafraid? Daxinkian laughed up to the sky and patted Wang Fei's shoulder with a big grin. Wang Fei was helpless. Okay, Don't blow the skin with you. I'll tell you something. Tomorrow I will leave here. Oh, forward. What did you just say? Daxinkian's complexion changed. Survey, how do you feel about the character Daxinkian? Do you like it? Will there be some alternative cuteness? Do you like this character? Please tell the fox what you think in the book review section. Her fate may change as a result. Also, if you like her, then I will ask my painter to draw her. P.S. The photo of the network administrator and little Lauren is being drawn. To see the ununderlined version of the novel, please download Philo Chapter 107. And so on. What did you just say? Daxinkian was stunned, and then her face changed. Wang Fei was a little puzzled by Daxinru's reaction, and he said again, I said that I will leave Rogue Town tomorrow. What's wrong? Leave? How long will it take? It can be long, from months to years. Nope. Daxinkian lost her voice. Huh? What can't? Wang Fei was a little puzzled. What's wrong with you? Seems to be excited. Forward. No. I'm okay. Where are you going? It's going to take so long. Daxinkian is a little bit of a stubborn. Wang Fei obviously did not notice the abnormality of Daxinki, and he smiled and said, Oh. It doesn't hurt to tell you this. I was invited by the world government and planned to open an internet cafe over there. Oh, Daxinkian replied lightly, but there was a hint of depression in her tone. Thank you for your coverage of me these days. You have helped me a lot in terms of publicity. It's a pleasure to work with you. You're like my soulmate, and every time I just have some ideas before I can say it. You've already reported it first. I really don't know how to thank you. Without your help during this time, the internet cafe would not have the reputation it has today, and I would not be known by the world, Wang Fei said to himself alone, but Daxinru silently lowered her head and did not say a word. The caps covered half of her face, and Wang Fei could not see her face. In fact, as Wang Fei said, 70% of his achievements in these days in Rogue Town were fought by the efforts of himself and Nami and various factors, while the other 30% were given by Daxinki during this time, whether it is a new game in the internet cafe, or various big and small events, as well as the Open, the 100 Cities League and so on. All of them were reported by Daxinki because of her. The news about Wang Fei and the internet cafe can be in the newspaper every 2 days on average, which seems small, but in fact, the effect is great. Wang Fei and Nami and others see it in their eyes and are grateful in their hearts. I remember that after the first meeting, you told me that you wanted to interview me. I asked you why. You said that your dream was to make big news and successfully promote to editor-in-chief. Wang Fei looked at the girl in front of him with a smile. He felt that this big grinning girl seemed to have an incredible strength, and his fate with her was also very deep. There is so much big news in the world, but she specially for him, rushed from the newspaper office to Kokoyashi village, and found herself after more than 10 days from Kokoyashi village to Rogue Town, which may not be expressed by simple fate. Congratulations. Now that you have realized your dream and become the editor-in-chief of the newspaper, as long as you work hard in the future, you will definitely have a great future. Wang Fei gently patted Daki's shoulder and smiled. Thank you for taking care of me these days. I have a small gift to give you. See you in the future. No thanks. You keep the gift. I'm a little tired. Would like to go back to sleep. Goodbye and good luck tomorrow. After that, Daxinkian turned around and left the internet cafe. Wang Fei held the game helmet he planned to give to Daxinkian in his hand, and stayed where he was, on the street of Rogue Town, as the entrance to the Great Waterway of the East China Sea. The daily passenger flow here is still very large. Daxinki walked down the street, in the opposite direction to most people. The streets were lively, but she couldn't hear anything at this time. Is he leaving? Oh, this can't be blamed on him. There is no unbroken feast in the world. But why is my heart so lost? Looking up, the sun in the sky is very dazzling. She remembered that she was just a small reporter in a newspaper, and the articles and reports she worked hard to write every day were always rejected by the editor-in-chief and repeatedly disliked. At that time, she secretly told herself that she must make a big news and become a well-known editor-in-chief. So after learning the news that the Evil Dragon pirate group was destroyed, she rushed from the newspaper office to Kokoyashi village, and then chased from Kokoyashi village to Rogue Town, in order to interview the hero who destroyed the Evil Dragon pirate group. Time has changed, and she was indeed close to Wang Fei because of her dreams and goals, but now she may not be the one anymore. That sunny and humorous person may have entered her life long ago, but maybe she never noticed it. I don't know when she liked to report the news about the network administrator. As long as the network administrator did something, She would be very happy immediately. There are many excellent people around the network administrator. She has neither Nami's smart business acumen nor Luoling's crude and terrifying strength, and the network administrator is also very rich, very status and strength. She wanted to do something for the network administrator. She knew that there were some things that she could do, but others couldn't, so she picked up her camera, picked up her pen, and reported things that were beneficial to the network management. And finally, internet cafes and online games spread all over the world. She is very happy, because she can really use her advantages to do many things that others can't, and she has also successfully helped the people she wants to help the most. Back at her residence, Daxinkian smashed straight on Trang, and she buried her face in the pillow. Thank you, network administrator, really happy these days. I fulfilled my dream and sat where I wanted to sit, but is that the end of it? Turning over, Daxinkian looked at his palm blankly. Nope, it cannot end like this. I don't want to. As if she had finally made up her mind, Daxinru stood up and quickly ran outside the house. There are some things that I will regret for the rest of my life if I don't write. To see the ununderlined version of the novel, please download Philo Chapter 108. Inside the town of Rogue. This is a newspaper, and all reports about Wang Fei began to spread from here on this day. Daxinkian broke into the office of the newspaper owner. She went on a rampage all the way, but no one dared to stop her. Because now Daxinkian is no longer a small reporter, but a well-known popular editor-in-chief. Because of people's curiosity about internet cafes, news about internet cafes began to become more and more popular, and Daxinki, who is related to Wang Fei, took almost all the news about internet cafes, and successfully rose from a small reporter to the position of editor-in-chief in the past 2 days. Her position has skyrocketed after reporting the news of Wang Fei's battle with Hawkeye, and now she is the biggest in the newspaper besides the boss. Therefore, if she wants to break into the boss's office, no one dares to stop her. Bang! The office desk was slapped with a loud bang. The newspaper owner was a thin middle-aged man, who was silently smoking a hookah at the moment, and he already knew who was coming. Without turning his head, Shu Chang spat out a mouthful of smoke, and the newspaper owner swallowed slowly. Editor-in-chief. What news did you bring today? Boom. Daxinkian impatiently slapped the table a few more times. There's no time to brag with you, boss. I only have one thing here. I'm going to resign. What? The newspaper owner was fluted. What a thing. I'm resigning. Daxinkian shouted again. It's not, editor-in-chief. You calm down. Your resignation is too sudden. Have you forgotten how hard it took you to climb to this position? Don't be impulsive. With your talent, I believe that your future is absolutely promising, and you must not give up halfway. Daxinkian waved her hands impatiently. Okay, okay. I'm not here to listen to your teachings. I'm here to resign today. Editor-in-chief, is there another newspaper that has dug you? Do you have any dissatisfaction with it? Oops. Uncle, you are so verbose. I don't have it. Then what are you doing with this sudden appearance? Inside the office, Daxinkian was silent for a while, and then spoke. I need to go after someone. Alone, the newspaper owner was stunned and said, Network administrator? Boss, you. Daxin was stunned. How do you know? Cut. Your little bit of careful thinking, the whole world is doubting, and you stupidly don't know. I heard that the network administrator is leaving Rogatown recently, right? Do you want to follow in his footsteps? Well, after a long time, Daxinkian nodded heavily. Then you go. Don't talk about resignation or something. The position of editor-in-chief is reserved for you. The newspaper owner laughed. Really? Daxinkian was pleasantly surprised. The newspaper owner nodded. Well, to do business, the long-term light should be put in the long run. With the internet cafe, the future of network management is destined to be extraordinary. If you have any news to report after following him, don't forget our newspaper. Well said. Then thank you, boss. You are such a nice person. Then I'll go first. Daxinkian waved her hand, and ran out of the newspaper office again. Poof, this girl is really... The newspaper owner shook his head angrily and amusedly. Leaving tomorrow, Wang Fei still has a lot of things to do today. Dealt with some things about the future of internet cafes, as well as things like installing automatic recharge machines before leaving. Wang Fei installed 300 more computers in the internet cafe, which was barely enough for the town's netizens. After that, Wang Fei came to Smog's territory, asked Smog to help take care of the internet cafe, and gave 10 Chinese cigarettes, and gave Smog a helmet after explaining how Smog used the helmet and introduced a future virtual reality game. Wang Fei also ignored the shocked Smog, went back to the internet cafe to pack up his things, and left tomorrow. The next morning, the sun had risen. An oversized naval ship was moored on the pier in Rogue Town. Wang Fei, Nami, Luo Ling, and King Zi were already standing on the deck of the ship, and the ship was about to leave from El Enfido. On the dock, many people gathered together to bid farewell to their network administrators, including naval soldiers, pirates, and many ordinary people. It was only at this time that Wang Fei knew that he had unknowingly gained the respect of so many people, and internet cafes had really integrated into people's lives, unknowingly reaching out and grabbing all the spiritual pollution in the brains of everyone who came to bid farewell to himself today. Wang Fei stood at the bow of the boat and looked at the distance of the streets of Rogue Town, still waiting for her to come. Nami came forward and asked with concern. Having been Wang Fei's wife for so many years, it was obvious that she knew what Wang Fei was thinking. She opened her mouth and persuaded, "I haven't appeared for so long, maybe I really won't come. After all, not everyone can give up such a status." Wang Fei was in a complicated mood. He did not speak, turned around and walked back into the boat. Nami also sighed and followed Wang Fei back just then. "Get out of the way. Let's let one." "Wait a minute. Wang Fei. You ungrateful. The old lady has made so many reports for you. If you dare to leave the old lady today, tomorrow the newspaper will be your gossip news." "Hey. You wait. We have already said that even if you start a war with the 4 emperors in the future, the old lady will follow with a camera. I can't escape." A girl wearing a cap, coiled blonde hair, a vest with long sleeves, black knee-length socks down, a pair of flat-heeled shoes, and her baby camera around her neck shouted while the crowd rushed towards the ship. Wang Fei on the ship turned back when he heard the sound, and his face was full of surprise. To see the ununderlined version of the novel, please download Philo. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 109. Above the sea, a naval ship is sailing smoothly on the sea. This ship was the naval ship that Wang Fei and the others were riding on, and the destination of this ship was El Enfido, and 5 days had passed since the departure of Rogue Town. After 5 days of sailing, the ship has sailed into the Great Channel, and in a week or so it will be able to reach the headquarters of the Navy. El Enfido. 5 days ago, Daxinkian shouted words that were almost like showing love under the attention of everyone. As long as she is not a fool, she can understand that she actually likes Wang Fei. At that time, the situation was urgent, and the parties did not think so much. They just happily pulled Daxinkian on the boat. But when the heat of the head passed, things are embarrassing. Wang Fei could feel his heart bristle all the time, and he didn't know what to say when he faced Daxinru. In the end, both parties still don't know how to face this relationship, so it is regarded as if it did not happen, and the future can only be resigned to fate. Fortunately, Daxinkian usually plays well with Nami and Luo Ling, and after a day of cooling, the 3 girls quickly played. Of course, play and play, but Nami is not the lord who gives in easily, and often holds Wang Fei's arm when she is fine, as if silently declaring that Wang Fei belongs to her. And the grinning Daxinkian is not a vegetarian. She was born with a disbelief in defeat, and immediately stepped forward to hold Wang Fei's other arm. The 2 women didn't let anyone, and finally got so angry that Nami desperately destroyed Wang Fei. After reaching the night, whenever she fell asleep, Nami began to show Wang Fei her fire bursting figure. Only let look, but not let move. Anxious Wang Fei scratched his ears and scratched his cheeks. As soon as the lights were finally turned off, Nami rode directly and raised her horse as he walked. He shouted, "Let you go outside and tick everywhere. Take the little leprechaun. I let you not have the strength to get up tomorrow morning. See if you dare to mess around." When the next day, Wang Fei's hands were shaking with a rice spoon, and the thick black circles under his eyes represented the brutality he had suffered. "What's wrong with you? Are you sick?" Daxinru, who was not in the personnel, said with concern. Wang Fei shook his head. "It's okay. It's okay. Who can feed me something? I don't want to move." Me. The 2 women answered together. The final result is that Wang Fei took 2 rice spoons in one mouth. Little Luling looked at the 3, blinked, and continued to eat muffled. Qing Zhi looked at the bitterness in the azure field, and smiled without speaking. Another week passed. After a period of 12 days, The ship finally arrived at the Haikal warship docking place in Malinferdo. Although Wang Fei has already seen the structure of Malinferdo in the original work, what he saw in the animation and what he really saw was completely different. The huge wall that is more than 50 meters high, as well as the countless artillery pieces on the wall, and the soldiers standing guard on all sides, all announced to the world the majesty of this naval headquarters and the world government outside the city gate. He led Wang Fei and the others to step forward. Wait, the gatekeeper stopped several people. How? Am I not allowed in? I said coldly. Young generals can naturally enter, but if these people want to enter, they must ask the Marshal of the Warring States. Where the duty lies, please forgive the young general. He nodded and directly dialed the phone worm of the Warring States, and after confirmation, the soldier finally agreed to let him go. Wait. Naval headquarters sites are not allowed with cameras. The gatekeeper pointed to the camera around Daxinru's neck. Nope. People are on camera. Daxinkian held the camera firmly and did not let go. Wang Fei glanced at Qingzi awkwardly. I sighed and said, okay, it's okay. These people are all guests invited by the Marshal of the Warring States, and I will bear it if something happens. Yes, young general. The group followed the young man all the way. Hey, remember that your camera should not shoot indiscriminately. No one can protect you if you leak military secrets. I explained. Got it. He led several people to the depths of the naval headquarters, first arranged a room for the third daughter, and then left with Wang Fei. Let's go. The Marshal of the Warring States still has something to discuss with you in a hurry. I said lightly, following Qingzi to the Marshal's office. Wang Fei opened the door. My goodness, this special admiral is all complete. I saw that in the office. Yellow Ape, Red Dog, and Warring States were sitting in the left and right middle positions of the office, while behind Wang Fei stood Qingzi. The three people in the office saw Wang Fei for the first time, and looked at Wang Fei's gaze with a slight scrutiny. Qingzi knew their end by looking at the eyes of the three people in the office. Without saying a word, he immediately turned around and left. Qingzi, where are you going? Sengoku scolded. Urgency. After speaking, Qingzi hurriedly left, and at the same time secretly said in his heart, these people are sitting there and waiting at the same time. It is estimated that they want to give Wang Fei a dismount, and then it will be more favorable to negotiate the conditions, but unfortunately I didn't tell them. In front of Wang Fei, you few capable people can't even stand steadily. I have to leave quickly, or I'll have to make a mess later. Inside the office, Sengokichi stretched out his hand. Wang Fei, right, have a seat. Wang Fei glanced at the vacant seat, which was in the center of the office in terms of position, while the three high-ranking naval officials were sitting in three directions. At first glance, this is clearly a sense of déjà vu of the prisoner. However, Wang Fei is not taboo, and dealing with this group of old foxes must not be confined to small sections. He farts. Strand sat directly on the middle seat, holding Erlang's legs and saying, Marshal, what's the matter? Say it. Recommend a friend's book. My youth can't be so cute. Interested readers can take a look. In addition, the Fox launched a vote on virtual reality games. Which style of virtual reality games you want to open in the future? Please vote for a valuable vote. To see the ununderlined version of the novel, please download Philo Chapter 110. To note, students who vote for more votes, please vote after 12 o'clock in the evening. Foxes have recently been code words after 12 o'clock. Other times to vote. Due to the time difference, the system only counts 1 day's time. I can't write 12,000 words in 1 day. Marshal, what kind of thing is there to find me? You say. Wang Fei ignored the atmosphere in the room that was like examining prisoners, and said lightly. Warring States glanced at Wang Fei obliquely, and he felt that he really underestimated this network administrator. Originally thought that the other party would be angry after seeing this posture, and then the three of them gave more way by the way, and then the next thing was easier to talk about. But I didn't expect that this Wang Fei actually directly sat down as if he had not found anything and the other party's sentence. What is the matter with you? Say it. There is a condescending meaning in his tone, and there is an air that you want to go through my consent. The three high-ranking naval officers present were simply not put in the eyes. Wang Fei on the seat was calm and did not feel a trace of unease. He could see the other party's posture of wanting to give himself a horse, but he didn't care. It is the Navy side that asks for himself, and the Navy side only has what he wants, so there is no need for him to worry that the other party will attack him, and now he puts on this posture, which is nothing more than to scare himself so that he can fight for higher interests in the next conversation. And the idea on the Sengoku side is another matter. When you didn't come to me before, then everything was easy to say, But now that your people are in my territory, it will be difficult for you to face the Navy and the world government without taking out a little more, Brother Wang Fei, as far as the conditions we talked about before. Let's talk about it in detail now. Warring States spoke. According to the agreement, you will provide us with computers, and we will pay you accordingly. Let's just say it. First of all, how many sets of computers can you provide to us? Wang Fei smiled and said, first of all, I want to correct some of your mistakes. The computer I gave you is not provided, or sell it to you, but rent it out to you. Rent? Wang Fei brothers, you are a bit too much to say this. Computers must have some military secret stored when used by our Navy, so it is impossible for us to accept this rental. Whether you accept it or not is your own business. You can cooperate if you can trust it, but you can't believe it and pull it down. Bang! Sengoku slapped the table and stood up, and his gaze when he looked at Wang Fei again already had killing intent. The red dog also had a thick fire around his body, and the yellow ape was also covered in golden light, and there was a fight in the room without saying a word. Then, as the invisible breath spreads throughout, the three capable beings in the room felt the abyss-like breath of the sea. This breath had just appeared, and the three of them had already lost the strength to speak before they could speak. Bang! 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 The bodies of the three people lost their strength and smashed directly on the desk. The breath was fleeting, and in just a few seconds, Wang Fei put the breath away again. Gee, oh Marshal, look at you. Why don't you engage in such a big fight? I'm so scared that I can't control my breath. Sorry. Wang Fei scratched his head and apologized embarrassedly after the aura disappeared. The three of them reluctantly sat back in their positions, and their complexions had changed a lot when they looked at Wang Fei again. Wang Fei's words, they categorically won't believe it. What is so scared that they can't control their breath? It is clearly intentional. After making a look at the red dog who was already on the verge of rage, he signaled him to be quiet, and the Warring States laughed loudly and spoke, but this time his tone was much kinder. Ha, it's okay. It's not right just now. I've been an official for too long. My temper is a little grumpy. I hope Brother Wang Fei won't be strange. Wang Fei also smiled. It's okay. It's all a misunderstanding, so let's move on to cooperation. First of all, I want to explain to you that I can't sell this computer to you, but it is also the responsibility of every citizen to provide help to the world government, so I decided to give away 500 computers to the world government for free. As for the rest, the world government still wants it, then it can only rent it to me. Wang Fei said with a smile as the so-called hit a stick to a candy, first suppress the other party's arrogance, and then give the other party a big surprise. This method should have been used many times to the warring states such as officials. Sure enough, although the warring states knew that Wang Fei's approach was somewhat similar to Wei and Shi, it was impossible for him not to be happy with such a big bargain. Warring States smiled and said, Brother Wang Fei's wishes, our world government accepted it, and on behalf of the world government, I would like to thank Brother Wang Fei for his generosity. Wang Fei stopped. It's okay, but I can say that in the front, although the computer was given to you. If you disconnect from me, the computer cannot be started, although the computer is given to you. Because I am the owner of the computer, I have the ability to control all the computers in the world. In other words, I can control the computers around the world at any time and view what's on them. But I can assure you that I will not check any Navy secrets, let alone control any computer that belongs to the Navy. To confess these things to you is to show my sincerity. As for whether the computer is or not, that is your own choice. Sengoku clapped his hands and quickly laughed. Yes, why not? However, the thought on the heart of the warring states was, forget about him so much, get the computer first, and talk about other things later. Wang Fei also nodded. Then let's talk about what I want and the specific cooperation projects of virtual reality games. To see the underlined version of the novel, please download Filu Chapter 111. Sengoku nodded. Yes, you talk about it, as long as it can be done, I will definitely not shirk. Wang Fei smiled. This is actually very simple. My requirements are 3. 1. I'm going to build an internet cafe here, and you adjust the system so that the soldiers can come and play in their spare time. Aye. If I want to grow my internet cafes and spread my internet cafes to a larger area, then the Navy must help. Anytime, anywhere. Third point. I need the Navy to give me some officially recognized rights. After all, I have paid so much, you should also give me a little convenience, right? Sengoku opened his mouth and just wanted to say something, but was immediately interrupted by Wang Fei. Marshal, Don't rush to oppose or give opinions first. Listen to me first and then talk about virtual reality. Sengoku nodded and closed his mouth to let Wang Fei continue. First of all, the virtual reality game. I also introduced it to you before. It can exercise the will and make the body stronger. Let's not talk about this advantage. As long as this game is released, then how much sensation it will cause in the world, you should be able to predict, right? Sengoku nodded. The virtual reality is equivalent to creating a new world, which must have a huge attraction for humans who have always been strong in curiosity. Once this kind of game is released, it will represent more than just a game. It will represent the change and subversion of the entire world. After seeing the warring states agree, Wang Fei continued, last time, the marshal asked me, can the game be provided to the world government alone? On this issue, I categorically refused. From a businessman's point of view, the game spreads to the world to make the most profit, and there is no impermeable wall in the world, and sooner or later this game will be known to the world. At that time, we will probably be greeted by a lifetime of infamy, and some people will even accuse the world government of dictatorship and monopoly, and may even provoke reaction. So the gains outweigh the losses. Moreover, no one can stop the progress of the world. This is inevitable. To use an analogy, for example, someone spent more than a decade learning a foreign language in order to earn money as a translator, but the times are progressing, and one day a voice translator is made. Since then, all translators have been laid off, so can those who are laid off go to the duty of the person who invented the translator? Obviously, the times are progressing, can't keep up with the progress of the times, and can only improve themselves to progress with the times. After listening to Wang Fei's words, the warring states also nodded with some approval. Wang Fei smiled and said, the place still has a month and a half of testing time, and I choose to cooperate with the Navy for the first batch of test players. After a month and a half, the game will be officially open for public beta to the world. The Navy side can experience the game a month and a half earlier than people in the world, so I won't say much about how much benefit it can gain from others, right? The warring states pondered for a long time. Indeed, what Wang Fei said was reasonable. This 1.5 months was enough for them to cultivate an elite army. Wang Fei waved his hand meaningfully and said, Marshal, I know what you're thinking, but there's more to you than just that in this month and a half. Oh? Sengoku asked with interest. Then what else? Wang Fei smiled and introduced to warring states and the others some of the benefits that the world government can also get in the game. What would it be like for a game that could be advanced for its development in advance? If readers had traveled back in time to a few years ago, what would you do with what you know about the future of gaming? I think everyone will think of one thing, that is, to stock up all the equipment and materials that will skyrocket in price in the future. Wait for the price to rise and then sell it all and make a lot of money, and the Navy will have a month and a half more game experience than other players because of the internal test, which means that they can use this month and a half to understand some equipment and materials that will increase in price, and when the official public beta they can directly buy, and then sell after the price of these materials rises. That will undoubtedly earn a lot of money, and Wang Fei will also reveal that in the future, there will be a way for Berry to exchange game currency. Players can use Berry to buy gold coins from other players, or sell gold coins for Berry. This means that the world government can resell it through the advantage of knowing the game, and thus get a huge amount of money. In the office, after Wang Fei's analysis, the warring states clapped his hands. Brother Wang Fei is really thoughtful. On behalf of the world government, I thank you. Hey, Wang Fei stopped and said, that's true, but as the producer and manager of the game, I don't allow this kind of reselling and stockpiling and disrupting the market. Oh, warring state smiled. Then I don't know what else Wang Fei brother wants. Wang Fei also smiled. It's very simple, the benefits you get. I want 3%. Sengoku pondered for a moment and said, good. Since brother Wang Fei has given us so many benefits, then our world government cannot be stingy. I agreed to the several conditions mentioned earlier by brother Wang Fei. Also, I wonder what kind of right brother Wang Fei wants the Navy to give you? Give you a naval officer? To see the ununderlined version of the novel, please download Philo Chapter 112. What official do you want? Wang Fei thought for a moment. Well, I don't want to be an official and don't like to be restrained, so you will give me someone who must have an identity, and also have some power, and do not need to be restricted. Oh, Sengoku nodded. He understood what Wang Fei meant. If you don't want to be an official in the world government, you must also sound like you have an identity, and you can also mobilize some navies to serve him at the same time. But he does not need to work for the world government, Does not have to listen to the position sent by the world government. This official that brother Wang Fei wants really can't be done for a while, or else. Give me some time, I'll discuss with the above. Give you a suitable one? Yes, I'm not in a hurry anyway. Wang Fei said satisfied. That's right. That one. About virtual reality games, Sengoku said carefully, don't worry, it will be developed in a few days, and I will take it to you to try it then. Wang Fei said with a smile. Sengoku also smiled. That's good. Oh yes, my internet cafe. I want to start doing it now. Okay, I'll give you a dip. Wang Fei shook his hand directly. No, don't. The women around me live in the same building with a bunch of soldiers. It's too embarrassing. The warring states were also embarrassed. He really didn't expect this layer. That's or, I'll ask someone to build you another one? Yes, be quiet. I don't want to be woken up by the sound of military training early in the morning. 5 days later, Wang Fei was directing a group of pirate soldiers to move there and began to decorate the internet cafe. Hey, big man, put the sofa over here, Alice. So who? Draw higher swing. Oh, the computer desk is a little more neat. Hey. You man, the computer is light. Assemble slowly. Don't be afraid that the canteen won't be open. Laozi said that the canteen will add dishes to you today. Wang Fei's busy voice sounded everywhere in the house. This place is Wang Fei's new internet cafe in Heibu, and it is also Wang Fei's new home 5 days ago. After Wang Fei and the warring states agreed, under Wang Fei's urging, the warring states had no choice but to use 5,000 soldiers to help Wang Fei build a house. 5,000 people worked in 3 shifts, and built a house without stopping work at 24 o'clock every day, and finally, at 4 o'clock, the house was built. After that, the warring states sent hundreds of people to suck in the toxic air of the new house through the most primitive method in the way of a human air purifier. Today, Wang Fei is in charge of directing the Navy to move the furniture and other things ordered, decorate new houses, and assemble computers. In the past 5 days, Wang Fei has not relaxed for a moment, from the foundation of the house to the pouring of cement, etc., all of which he single-handedly checked. The new house was built in an undeveloped part of the naval headquarters. After all, the naval headquarters is so large, there is still open space. The style of the whole house does not have the same square seriousness as other naval buildings. Wang Fei's house is built more civilian. It looks very warm. In this huge naval headquarters, it is also a small freshness. It is worth mentioning that because Wang Fei has been busy building internet cafes these days, he has no time to accompany a few women. And what Wang Fei didn't expect was that these 3 women, especially Nami and Axenru, who were still arguing before, were magically reconciled, and the 3 of them also tacitly combined into CF squad, and they played with their own care, which really flattered Wang Fei and saved Wang Fei from the fate of being ridden in the evening. By the end of the day, the internet cafe was finally completely renovated. The new internet cafe has a total of 1,200 machines, 500 in the lobby on the first floor, 550 on the second floor, and 150 on the third floor. However, the third floor is a specially designed box for some high-ranking members of the Navy, so it occupies a large area but has few aircraft. Previously, Wang Fei saved a total of about 4,000 sets of computers through large and small tasks, sent 500 sets, and rented 600 sets from the Navy. As for what he took it, Wang Fei did not know there are still about 2,000 sets of computers. Wang Fei does not plan to release them for the time being, save them for later. The next morning, Wang Fei opened the door of the internet cafe. As for why not advertise the new internet cafe, this one. First, the naval base is not allowed to fire artillery, and second, Wang Fei has built an internet cafe in the Navy headquarters in the past few days, and I am afraid that none of the people in this naval headquarters do not know the news of the opening of the internet cafe. It is believed that after the morning training, the relevant high-level officials announced the rectification rules. These people should be coming online right away. Early in the morning, the Navy is conducting daily training, and no one should come here to surf the internet. This also made Wang Fei enjoy rare quiet. With the internet cafe on the other side of the East China Sea, it is difficult for him to calculate how much money he can bring him a day, so there are not many people who come to this internet cafe. Wang Fei does not care much. Looking at the quiet internet cafe, Wang Fei couldn't help but admire his wit. Fortunately, he chose the location where the internet cafe was built in this place far away from the military area. Otherwise, it would be really difficult to have the tranquility that it is today. After all, I came to open an internet cafe, and I didn't come to join the army. Right, he just wants to live quietly as an ordinary person, and he is fortunate to choose this remote place. Although there may be a lot less guests as a result, imagine if a large number of soldiers ran from front of your house every day shouting slogans, and it started before dawn. The gunshots and cannons also basically did not stop. How would you feel? To see the ununderlined version of the novel, please download Philo Chapter 113. Today, a new internet cafe has just opened. Wang Fei squatted from morning to noon and no one came, which couldn't help but make Wang Fei sigh. It seems that there is really not much oil and water on the Navy's side, but fortunately, even so, Wang Fei still makes money on the side of the Navy. The world government rents a total of 600 computers. The rent is not expensive, charged at 1,000 berry per hour, but charged at 24 hours a day every day that passes. Someone will send money to Wang Fei. Although many people are curious about where Wang Fei put so much money, even when they were in Rogue Town, some people began to suspect that the operation of the automatic recharge payment machine is very simple. As long as the money is stuffed into the payment machine, the recharge can be completed, but this payment machine, which is at most one person high, is like a bottomless pit, and it is not satisfied with how it is stuffed. This makes many people wonder where the money goes. Smug also asked Wang Fei this question, but Wang Fei did not answer because it was too difficult to answer. After all, Pirate World doesn't seem to have such a thing as bank ATMs and bank cards. Wang Fei also had the idea of opening a bank in the Pirate World, but it was still impossible with his current strength and credibility. Looking forward to the stars and the moon. Finally, after 12:30 noon, the first Navy to go online came. Later, another 100 people followed. Yo! The network management is finally open. Many soldiers greeted Wang Fei. Most of the first people who came were soldiers who had come to build houses for Wang Fei before, so they were all more familiar, and they were not so polite when they spoke. Yes, it's open today. You all know. Why are you only here now? Alice, there is no way. The daily training tasks are completed at 12 o'clock, and the meal is finished at 12:30. Oh. So it was. Come on, come in. After that, under Wang Fei's teaching, the new internet cafe soon ushered in its first income. Ling. Congratulations to the host for completing the main quest. The system's beep finally sounds. Ling. You've successfully built an internet cafe in Marineford, the headquarters of the Navy, and earned your first income. You've been rewarded with quests. 5,000 computer suits, 6,000 VR headsets, and the online game Dungeons and Warriors. All items have been distributed to the backpack. Please check it. Ling. The online game Dungeons and Warriors is now available for side-by-side 2D gameplay on a PC or as a virtual reality headset. The host can be set through network management permissions. Ling. The VR gaming headset is ready to use. Please arrange it yourself. Ling. Congratulations to the host for triggering the main quest, which requires 10,000 registrations for the virtual reality game. Mission reward, virtual reality helmets 20,000 units. Note, please actively complete the task to obtain more game helmets to lay the foundation for the popularization of virtual reality games in the future. A series of system prompts exploded in Wang Fei's mind. Wang Fei was pleasantly surprised, too. That's great. The virtual reality game is finally open. At dusk that day, Wang Fei closed the door of the internet cafe early. Back in the room, Wang Fei opened the network management permission light curtain and carried out game management. Does the host only open the virtual reality version of Dungeons and Warriors? Yes, congratulations to the host for successfully opening the virtual reality game version. Now use your gaming headset to play. Picked up the phone. Worm. Hello? Hawkeye brother. Oh? Is it Wang Fei brother? It's me, haha. Been waiting for your call for a long time. Wang Fei also smiled. Yes, I've been waiting for a long time, and now I can finally open the closed beta. That's wonderful. Bring your helmet and go inside and experience it. Inside the Sengoku office, Wang Fei was in a very happy mood, and he stood in front of the desk of the Warring States with his hands in his hands and smiled. Marshal of the Warring States, call the 3 generals. I have something to show you. Sengoku Ichihi. He had already guessed what Wang Fei was for, and immediately excitedly called Kingsley, Yellow Ape, and Red Dog over. Okay, if you have something to show us, just say it, Warring States said with joy, and the 3 generals also looked at Wang Fei with expectant eyes. After whetting his appetite, Wang Fei took out 5 helmets and gave them to the 4 people present before taking one himself. After you sit down, Put on your helmet. Wang Fei was obviously also excited, and he didn't prevent several people in the room from directly putting on helmets. After putting on the helmet, Wang Fei only felt that his brain was swept by a strange ripple, and then fell into a semi-deep sleep. Then, he saw blinding white light in front of him. And then he found himself standing in a void. Welcome the Network Administrator Master to enter the game. Please choose the game character you experience. Next. A list of selected characters for the game pops up in the void. There are only a few characters in the 60-level version of the game: Ghost Swordsman, Female Fighter, Sharpshooter, Female Magician, and Priesthood. Wang Fei glanced at it and chose the Ghost Swordsman. After all, he still likes characters with swords. You have selected the character, Ghost Swordsman. Please take a game ID. I want to pretend character is successfully created. The Fox launched a vote. Everyone remember to vote. To see the ununderlined version of the novel, please download Philo Chapter 114. The character I want to pretend has been created, and you can now enter the game for a virtual reality experience. After a sound of system ascension, Wang Fei's eyes were blinding white light, and when his vision was restored again, Wang Fei had already arrived in a jungle. The dungeons in the virtual reality mode are similar to the settings of the warrior and computer versions, and the story and map are the same as the computer version, but unlike the desktop version, this virtual reality is observed and played from a first-person perspective. The computer version is to play from the perspective of others. While the virtual reality is immersive, you are you. And you are not having the privilege of God's perspective. In the game, Wang Fei raised his hand, looked at the wooden stick in his hand, and tried to move his body in the virtual reality. And the reality turned out to be really similar. It seems that the things made by the system are really not bad. Wang Fei nodded in satisfaction. Looking around, he saw a green grass at his feet, and every few meters he could see the hidden skulls in the grass, and the vicinity was full of tall trees. Wang Fei just glanced at it twice and knew that he must be carrying out the initial teaching stage, that is, the task of rescuing Celia. Everyone is finally very curious about the novel food. Wang Fei is no exception. He walked and watched, and finally, a light curtain jumped out in front of him, which is the process of explaining the task, situation and operation teaching. Please rely on your own efforts to rescue the girl in front. The system prompts. P.S. The system here refers to the game system, not Wang Fei's exclusive system. Stepping forward quickly, Wang Fei finally saw his opponent this time, which was a few goblins carrying wooden sticks. Take a look at the basic properties of goblins. Goblins, low-level creatures, level 1 health. 65. The attributes that monsters can view are still the same as those of the computer version, and they can only view the monster's category and level, and life, and nothing else. He laughed a few times. Wang Fei no longer hesitated, and stepped forward with a wooden stick to fight directly with the goblin low-level monsters. In order to cater to the operation of novice players, so the IQ will be set by the system to be relatively low, so the goblin in front of him was slashed by Wang Fei with a wooden stick so that he could fight back, and finally was killed by Wang Fei and turned into experience. You gained experience 25, 75 experience to upgrade, all the way through the level. Wang Fei is still full of monsters because he is the one who played the play. So he quickly came to the location of the boss after killing a few mobs. Lord, throw goblins, level 2 health. 300. Please kill the Lord and rescue the imprisoned Celia. After looking around, Wang Fei finally found the place where Celia was imprisoned, which was surrounded by several large trees, and it was really difficult to find if you didn't look carefully at this time. Celia was trapped by a huge iron cage, and there was a bonfire next to her. It seemed that the goblin should have planned to roast and eat this beauty. The road to Celia's place of imprisonment is surrounded by large trees, and only one path can pass, and this path has been blocked by this goblin. That is to say, if you want to save Celia, you must kill this goblin. Without any more hesitation, Wang Fei picked up the wooden stick and rushed towards the goblin. As a goblin lord, his IQ is of course a little higher than that of ordinary goblins. At least he will already take the initiative to attack. It's just that its attack methods are not remarkable, just throwing stones at people. The stone thrown is also very good to dodge. After all, Wang Fei is also very familiar with this game. This stone is just a straight line attack. If you can't dodge, then it is estimated that you are really sick. Bypassing the stones thrown by the goblin, Wang Fei came to the goblin's side. Dungeons and Warriors retain skills in a similar way to Sword Art Online. Just put on the initial posture of the skill you want to use, and then imagine the name of the skill in your mind. So the skill bar of the computer version has been cancelled here, which also makes Wang Fei curious what to do with the future hand-rubbing series of weapons. However, the current version is still far from hand-rubbing, so it is not the time to worry. Walking around behind the goblin, Wang Fei raised his weapon upwards with both hands, and silently said in his mind, "Pick up." Buzz! The stick was picked upwards, and the goblin was directly picked up by a stick. Then, a series of ordinary attacks came, and a crackling muffled stick knock sounded in the deep forest. Seeing that the goblin's HP was less than 1/5, Wang Fei raised the wooden stick in his hand and slashed at the goblin. Ghost slash! As the stick fell, a purple-black ghost figure flung out of the stick, and the ghost opened its mouth and headed towards the goblin. Cover! Snap! The ghost slash caused great damage to the goblin, and after the stick fell, and after the ghost dissipated, the goblin also fell to the ground. A key fell from the goblin's body, and Wang Fei picked it up and checked it. Key. A quest item that opens the cage that imprisons Celia. Oh? It seems that the virtual reality game has really improved a lot. I remember the computer version of the cage was directly destroyed by violence, but now it requires a key to open it. Are you afraid I'll hurt Celia? Ha ha ha. After coming to the iron cage, after opening the cage with a key, Celia walked out of it, and she bowed to Wang Fei very politely. "Warrior, thank you for saving my life. This place has stayed for a long time. Please follow me." Saying that, he took Wang Fei's hand and ran out of his body. Filu reminds you, 3 things to read. Collect, Chapter 115. Dungeon Warriors Virtual Reality Game. This is a huge one. Specifically how huge it is, it can be said that there is no problem at all to accommodate 10,000 people, and after Wang Fei saved Celia, she brought her to this hotel, and after arriving at the hotel, Celia stood straight like this and did not speak to Wang Fei again. Strangely, according to the setting of the computer version, Celia's family runs a hotel, and his hotel is for adventurers to rest. But this place is also too big, right? Wang Fei wrote out again. He walked up to Celia and said, "Celia's." After Wang Fei took the initiative to talk, it seemed to trigger the plot of the dialogue with Celia, and Celia spoke. "Thank you for saving from the hands of the goblins. If it weren't for your help, I might have been killed by the goblins long ago. You seem to be a new face that you have never seen before. Are you a new adventurer?" Wang Fei nodded. "Well, yes, no wonder I haven't seen you." Celia smiled, and the expression was no different from a real person. "Then, you can go out and find out about the situation outside, and remember to say hello to the villagers, because they are likely to have a mission that needs your help. By the way, Uncle Linus seems to want to see you. Go out of the door and walk to the left to see Uncle Linus." Wang Fei nodded. "Then goodbye." "Goodbye, I will always wait for you." For some reason, after hearing Celia's last words, Wang Fei was a little moved. The Alvin line is a defensive line established in Alvin to prevent Lorraine and the goblins and minotaurs in the depths of Lorne from attacking human towns out of the door of the hotel. Looking at this familiar and unfamiliar Alvin line, Wang Fei couldn't help but feel a little sad. This street has both memories and youth. After walking about 50 meters to the left, I heard a shout, "Treat equipment like a lover." After that, there was a sound of blacksmithing, and without guessing, Wang Fei knew that this must be the blacksmith Linus, and his classic line is really hard to forget. "Hey, Uncle." Wang Fei stepped forward to greet Linus. Turned around. "Oh. Was it the one who saved Sally from a goblin? Look at your small body, it's not quite like Wang Fei's head dripped a sweat. He was a little too lazy to talk to his uncle. After all, he also played a lot of roles on Earth back then, and he knew what Linus wanted to say. "That's right. Lao Tzu is the manager of this game." Wang Fei patted his head. He turned on the management privilege and directly completed all the existing tasks in the task list. Bang! The upgraded white light shone out from Wang Fei's body. "Player I want to pretend has been upgraded to level 3. Player I want to pretend has been upgraded to level 4. A task directly promoted Wang Fei to 4, and then gave a task reward, a newbie white short sword, equipped with a novice short sword. His attack power has also increased a lot, but Wang Fei did not care too much. He looked around and couldn't help but be a little puzzled. It stands to reason that at this time, the warring states should also complete the task of teaching novices and go out of town, but why haven't I seen them yet? This virtual reality game does not have a desktop channel selection. All players are on the same line. There is no reason for that. After waiting for a few more minutes, still not waiting for the appearance of several people from the warring states, Wang Fei was a little bored, and returned to the hotel. "Eh? You guys are Wang Fei looked at the few people in the hotel, and couldn't help but be a little speechless. Warring States turned his head. Brother Wang Fei, what's wrong? In the cognition of Dungeons and Warrior players, Celia's hotel was open for himself, but now he found that several people appeared in his territory at the same time, which couldn't help but startle Wang Fei. No, nothing, Wang Fei responded. It seems that this hotel should be for all players. Anyone can come in to hand over the mission to Celia, and Celia should be similar to the NPC that hosts novice players. No wonder this place is so big. Wang Fei slandered Alice, but also, this is a virtual reality game. Looking at the Warring States people again, Wang Fei spoke. Marshal of the Warring States, you guys are not adapted to the setting of the game. The characters in the game will not actively talk to you, and if you want to do a task, you must actively talk to them. So it is. Sengoku and the others suddenly realized several people stepped forward to communicate with Celia and received the task of finding Linus, and found Linus under the leadership of Wang Fei, and after completing the task, they all upgraded to level 3 and obtained their own new weapons. Are you the one who saved Celia from the goblins? Look at your little body, it's not like a. As soon as Linus's words came out, the faces of Sengoku and the others turned green. The characters in the virtual reality game are perfectly copied by the helmet according to the real body in the game. After sweeping the body in reality, Admiral, which of these people is not physically strong? And at this time, he was ridiculed by an old man who struck iron for being a small body. This is both visual. The red dog with the hottest temper among the several people and the yellow ape who will report the flaws were the first to become angry, and they picked up their weapons and rushed towards them. To see the ununderlined version of the novel, please download Philo. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 116. Inside the marshal's office. The 5 people in the room took off their helmets one after another. The yellow ape and the red dog looked depressed, while the Sengoku and Kingsley wanted to laugh. Wang Fei was also a little speechless after taking off his helmet, and he stood up. Looking at the yellow ape and the red dog, he said, I said. The 2 generals, this is just a game, why bother? The dialogues of the characters in it are all set up long ago. You can also think of him as a robot, and they will only say a few words. So, as an admiral, what else to do with a robot? The yellow ape and the red dog were silent, obviously not wanting to speak, while the Warring States had already laughed. You deserve it, see that you still have the score of the general. Wang Fei glanced at the yellow ape and the red dog strangely, and then sat down, remembering what happened in the game before, and he couldn't help but want to laugh. The virtual reality game is a highly free game mode, so unlike the computer version, players can freely enter the battle mode even in town. Of course, this refers to the fact that skills can be used in the town, normal attacks, etc. Not that players can fight each other on the street. It will players want to fight between each other. One is to go to the PK field, the other is to apply. For example, if you look at someone on the street is not good, then you can apply to fight with him. If the other party agrees, then you can fight him. As for winning or losing, each depends on his ability. And your battle will not hurt anyone else but beating NPCs. Popular science, NPC refers to non-player characters, such as repair merchants in the game, exchange merchants, etc. That's another matter. NPCs are protected by the system, and any player's attack cannot cause any damage to them, but it will reduce the favorability of NPCs, and if it is too much, NPCs may also take revenge. Being hated by NPCs is a very painful thing, such as the yellow ape and the red dog just now. It was because he attacked Linus and was hated by Linus. Although NPCs will not take action against players, the consequences of offending NPCs can be serious. The 2 yellow apes and red dogs, because they attacked Linus, so the equipment sold in the Linus store needs twice the price of others if they want to buy it. Repairing equipment at Linus also costs twice as much as others, and the rewards and experience obtained for tasks related to Linus are halved. Linus needs powerful equipment that can be exchanged with the materials, and if the 2 of them want to exchange, they also need to exchange more than half of the others. Thinking of the future Linus providing diamond weapons and sorrow jewelry, Wang Fei sympathized with the 2 and wanted to laugh even more. After that, Wang Fei spent another half an hour popularizing some common sense about the game, so that several people had a general understanding of the game. Okay, Now it's time to get down to business, Wang Fei said lightly. Speaking of business. Several people present stopped talking and asked Wang Fei to speak first. Everyone has also experienced the game. I don't know how everyone feels, Wang Fei asked. Very powerful, fantastic, amazing experience, great innovation. All four present expressed their opinions. Well, then, what I said earlier about the function of exercising combat awareness and enhancing your own strength has also been verified by you, right? Several people were silent for a while. There is no doubt that virtual reality games can exercise their sense of battle and the function of enhancing their own strength. They really vaguely felt that their strength had increased a little after quitting the game, although it did not rise much. The function you said is indeed there, although the enhancement of strength is a little small, but there is still something, Sengoku affirmed. Wang Fei stopped, and then continued to speak. That's right, I need to tell you in terms of strength, the algorithm for enhancing strength is calculated by level and percentage, and players will get 0.5% of the strength of the real body base for each level up in the game. The basis for this enhancement is calculated when the player enters the game for the first time, that is, a one-person player. When entering the game for the first time, the system will evaluate his strength. For example, when entering the game with an assessment score of 100 points, then each upgrade system will increase his strength by 0.5% based on this 100 points. 0.5% of 100 is an enhancement of 0.5. Of course, this is calculated according to the percentage algorithm, that is, the greater the strength, the greater the gain in the game. For example, the childish combat power is 1000, then he will increase the strength of 5 with each upgrade in general. Even if virtual reality games are popularized in the future, the whole people will improve their strength. But the gap between the weak and the strong is always a world apart, so the world government does not have to worry about the artificial revolt after the strength of the whole people increases in the future. Having said so much, you all understand, right? Wang Fei asked. Several people nodded one after another, improving their strength according to the percentage, which was what they hoped for the most. So, Brother Wang Fei, how many helmets can you bring to us? Finally, Sengoku asked the most crucial question. Wang Fei smiled. Then it depends on how many units a marshal can buy. Warring States looked cold. Brother Wang Fei, what do you mean by this? Wang Fei sneered. I still want to ask the marshal what he means. HMPH, Brother Wang Fei, you are different from what you said before, right? Sengoku's expression is getting colder. Oh? So what did I say before? Wang Fei stood in place and asked softly. To see the ununderlined version of the novel, please download Philo Chapter 117. Brother Wang Fei, I remember that you said that you were willing to cooperate with my world government and provide helmets to improve our strength, Sengoku said coldly. Wang Fei nodded. That's right, I did say so. Since I said it at the beginning, why do you have to raise money now? Wang Fei smiled contemptuously. I said, Marshal, are you really stupid or pretend not to understand? What did you say? Seeing Wang Fei so arrogant, Chi Inu was a little angry. Red Dog, Sengoku stopped the Red Dog with a wave of his hand. Brother Wang Fei, you better make things clear. Wang Fei smiled. What I want to say is very simple. A helmet is 3 million berry. How much you want depends on how much money you can come up with. 3 million berry apiece. Wang Fei, are you some lions opening their mouths? Sengoku stood up. Obviously he was a little annoyed. Otherwise he wouldn't call Wang Fei by name. The lion opens its mouth? Ha ha ha. Wang Fei laughed loudly. My lion opened his mouth? So I ask you, do you think I picked up these helmets from the ground? In a word, the warring states were stunned. You only see the magic of this helmet, but you don't know how much it costs to build one. Let me tell you clearly, a helmet costs no less than 5 million berry. I will give you a few, but this does not mean that I will give you as much as you want. Wang Fei's expression was a little excited, and he continued, I have already discounted you and charged you 2 million berry less each. What else do you want? If I don't want to cooperate, I can find someone else, and your naval headquarters can't stop me. The warring states were silent, and the three generals did not speak. Wang Fei's words seemed to make them really feel that they were too shameless. I'm sorry, Brother Wang Fei. Please forgive me for being rude just now. The financial implications of this matter are too big. I need to reply to the above. Please give me a little time, said the Chinese said with some relief. Yes, after seeing the other party calm down, Wang Fei also said, that's right. Wang Fei turned around again and said, in a month, maybe the low-end version of the helmet will be made, and the price is about 700,000 berry. but the performance is not as good as it is now, and the increase in strength is also pitiful. Think for yourselves. By the way, friendly reminder, you don't have much time. You can think about it casually, even wait until the low-end helmet is released in a month, but the game will be released to the world as soon as it is released, so how much profit you can win depends on when you can enter the game. Inside the office, the Sengoku chief let out a long breath. I see. Wang Fei nodded and said, the highest level of the game is currently level 60, which means that you can increase your strength by up to 30%, and the closed beta time is over. After the open beta begins, all data will be deleted, and your level in the closed beta will all be cleaned up. When you retrain to level 60 in the open test, you can increase your strength by 30%. Your naval side will always have a 30% advantage over others. Okay, let's talk here. I've given you the biggest benefit. As for whether you can eat it all in this 1.5-month internal testing time, it's up to you. Think about it, Marshall. I think you should be able to see what is at stake, and if you think I'm asking too much, then I can find someone else to work with. I hope you will give me an answer soon. After all, every day of the closed test is extremely valuable, because it is also my bargaining chip to negotiate prices with others. After speaking, Wang Fei waved his hand and walked away, leaving only a back for the people in the house. After Wang Fei left, the Warring States reluctantly returned to his seat. This Wang Fei, young and very bold, thought that he would be able to take advantage of it by scaring him, but he didn't expect him to leave such a ruthless word all of a sudden. Shaking his head helplessly, Sengoku sighed, forget it. Admit it, this kid can't calculate. The other side, Wang Fei couldn't help but spit not far after going out. Bah. This dead old man, clearly pretending to be a fool and not wanting to pay for it, also wants to use the power of the world government to scare me. Lao-Tzu really doesn't eat your set. Originally, I only wanted to sell you 2 million berry. See you put on this posture, I will sell you 3 million won, each more than 1 million, otherwise I am sorry for my dead brain cells. Alice. It's annoying to talk about cooperation with some officials. In fact, these helmets, computers, Wang Fei did not spend much money to get them, but this kind of high-tech thing you want me to give away for nothing. Although it didn't cost much, I used my strength to fight one by one. This helmet, sold for 3 million berry, compared to the benefits that can be obtained from virtual games, this is simply a lot of money, okay? And according to the price of the newspaper of Pirate World, a newspaper of Pirate World is 200 berry, and the newspaper of the Earth is about 2 yuan a piece. That is to say, 100 berry equals 1 yuan. A helmet of 3 million berry does seem expensive, but once converted into RMB, that is, 30,000 RMB a piece, is this really expensive? For the world government, a helmet of 30,000 yuan is not expensive, right? A few shells during military drills is almost this money, right? The reward for a pirate is a reward of hundreds of millions of dollars, and he pretends to be stupid and stunned to talk about a business with Lao-Tzu. If it weren't for the requirement of the main quest to cooperate with you, Lao-Tzu would still have to cooperate with you in acting? No, I have to rectify this group of navies. Let you think of taking advantage of me. Laozi really has to rectify you. To see the ununderlined version of the novel, please download Philo Chapter 118. This morning, Wang Fei looked very happy. A tearing with the Warring States was already yesterday, and early this morning the Warring States sent someone to send the money for the purchase of helmets. This time, the Navy directly purchased 10,000 game helmets from Wang Fei, and I have to say that this Warring States is just a tough mouth, and he has to buy this helmet anyway. It's just that after yesterday's conversation, Wang Fei has become more and more unhappy with a few old slippery heads, and he decided to clean up these navies, and the Warring States did not expect that the play he performed this time still exhausted Wang Fei's patience. He didn't expect to use political means to deal with Wang Fei, but Wang Fei didn't eat this set at all. 10,000 helmets, this is the number of helmets that the Warring States decided to buy, 10,000 units, 3 million berry each, a total of 30 billion berries. With so much money, it is no longer possible to trade directly with cash, so the Warring States used some things such as gold and gemstones for equivalent exchange. In short, these 30 billion berry kings are not on their pockets intact. However, although 30 billion berry seems to be a lot, it is about 300 million yuan if converted into RMB, according to the Warring States, since the application for public funds needs to be approved, so buy 10,000 units first, and after the money is approved, the second batch will be purchased. The first batch of testers of the Navy is undoubtedly the elite of the elites selected by the world government. Because Wang Fei also said before that the stronger the person, the more he gets. These 10,000 navies have all been prepared and will enter the game under the command of the high level after 7 o'clock this evening. In this regard, Wang Fei is also looking forward to it. This is the first real beginning of the Arad continent. Because there will be 10,000 people entering the game at the same time tonight, he is looking forward to what it will be like when 10,000 people appear at the same time in the whirlwind line. At 6:30 p.m. that day, a broadcast came out from the loudspeakers of the naval headquarters. All units pay attention. All units pay attention. The selected person from yesterday immediately gathered at the meeting point. Mission ready to begin. Repeat, attention to all units, attention to all units. The selected person from yesterday immediately gathered at the meeting point. Mission ready to begin. After the radio rang, it caused a commotion, and many people came out of their dormitories and began to run in the same direction. The Navy's approach to playing games here is quite chic. Wang Fei smiled in order to avoid the process of the game. These people selected by the Navy will gather together in one place for the time of the game to play. Seeing that the Navy had gathered almost the same, Wang Fei smiled and began to prepare. After putting on the helmet and flashing brightly, Wang Fei entered the game, this time online in the same place as when he was last offline, Celia's hotel. Several white lights shone in the hotel, and I saw that the 4 people of warring states, Red Dog, Yellow Ape, and King Zhu also appeared in the hotel. Yo! How many of you are so early? Wang Fei stepped forward to greet warring states and the others also nodded. Brother Wang Fei, you also came up to play games? Yes, after all, 10,000 people are playing online at the same time, and I, the game manager, also want to come up and see this grand event. After a pause, Wang Fei said again, by the way, do you want to go to the monster leveling together? After completing a few missions here, you can switch to a bigger map and go to a bigger town. Really? Several people in the warring states were obviously a little surprised. I thought this was the only place in this game. Wang Fei shook his head. How is this possible? This world is very big. Luolan, Grand Forest, Sky City, Heavenly Curtain Behemoth, Dark City, 10,000 Years Snow Mountain, etc. There are many places waiting for you to break into. That's fantastic. But we can't level up with you yet. Why? Wang Fei was a little puzzled. No way. 10,000 new people waiting for us to teach and familiarize themselves with a game. Okay, you guys are busy, walking on the street. This street is very realistic, but it is slightly monotonous. Maybe it lacks human relationships. Because he was a little bored, Wang Fei planned to brush the map. As long as he reached level 5, and then completed the task, he could go to the new town of Hutanmar as a non-administrator of Wang. He can directly give himself a set of god costumes and be exempted from some tasks. But these tasks are all small tasks. After all, the function of upgrading and increasing strength is also applicable to Wang Fei, which is too cheap for him if he uses administrator privileges to directly promote himself. Therefore, the equipment can be taken casually. But the level can only be brushed up by itself, which is the limit given to Wang Fei by the system. Forget it, that's fine. Anyway, I want to experience this game well. I yearn for the sense of achievement of walking through every map. And I miss the glory of successfully slaughtering powerful bosses. Wang Fei smiled and walked into the depths of Luolan with a rusty katana in his hand. When they came out after a set, it was 10 minutes later, and by this time most of the Navy soldiers had successfully completed the novice guide and came to the town to look around and stand on the street. They looked at this strange and real world, and obviously couldn't believe that this was really a virtual game. Looking at the scene of tens of thousands of people standing on the street, Wang Fei's heart couldn't help but get hot, and he issued an announcement with management authority. After that, a soft female voice came from above the whirlwind line. Welcome players to the Arad continent. From today, your adventure begins here. To see the ununderlined version of the novel, please download Filu. Chapter 120. After adjusting the game data, Wang Fei was very happy. As for whether the monster will pose a threat to itself after it becomes stronger, this Wang Fei has never worried at all. Why? Because he's an administrator, although it was said before that administrators cannot directly upgrade themselves to full levels, but in addition to not being able to brush levels and tasks at will, in the game he can do almost everything. If you can't upgrade to the full level at once, then add some strength, intelligence, and attack speed to make your monster brushing speed faster. No equipment? Don't worry. Directly activate the management rights and give yourself a set of the highest level of equipment available, purple suit, with equipment and weapons, But it is still not easy to kill the monster, but will be killed by the monster. It's okay. It's a big deal to add 13 to all a set of equipment, million defenses, super attacks. After all, a plan to play a game, no matter what, must have an advantage over other players, right? As for whether the Navy side would be angry if it knew that Wang Fei secretly modified the data, Wang Fei's answer was, "It's about me." What is closed beta? What is the common test? Internal testing refers to a small range of testing of online games, and online games can only be publicly tested after internal testing during the closed beta. The game plan will find some shortcomings and loopholes of the game during the internal testing player's game, and then the game plan will improve these shortcomings and vulnerabilities according to the situation, so that a game tends to be more perfect, and only after the discovery and improvement of the internal test, a game can open the public beta in a perfect form. That is, the public test can also be called the public test. That is, the whole people can play. The Navy is now in the closed beta stage, which means that any changes Wang Fei makes in the closed beta stage are correct and feasible. The Navy side does not have any power to accuse Wang Fei of secretly reforming, because the closed beta itself is a process of perfecting the game. Wang Fei's doing this can also be called a responsibility. After modifying the data, Wang Fei returned to the side of warring states and others. These 4 people have been waiting in place for a long time. Wang Fei took a look at these people. Sengoku's profession is a priesthood, so why choose this role? Gu Sengoku himself said, it is because when he chose the role, he happened to see a magician among the priest's profession, and the profession also happened to be a rosary. He feels that this role is very close to himself, because his fruit can bear fruit, and the name of the character of the warring states is Lashonda. The role of the yellow ape is also one. According to him, he has always only liked speed, and when he saw one of the clerics turn profession Blue Fist, he felt that the punching speed and attack speed of this profession were the fastest among all the characters, so he directly chose the clergy. As for his character name, it's called Lightspeed Monkey Play, and Kingsley's profession is a sharpshooter, and there is no other reason why Kingsley chose this role. He once asked Wang Fei if ice was used in these roles, and Wang Fei replied that it would be later in desperation. Kingsley also happened to play a gunfight game before, so he could only choose the sharpshooter profession, and as for what to change jobs in the end, he had not yet thought about it. Kingsley's name has not changed, it is still the same as before. Cold as a refrigerator. The character of Akainu is a ghost swordsman. According to his own words, when he was playing the selection game, he happened to see the Berserker class spray. Big moves such as blood spraying magma are very similar to his magma fruit, so he directly chose the ghost swordsman. The character name of the Red Dog is not much different from the real name, called Red Dog. When he saw this name at that time, Wang Fei almost didn't die of laughter. Red Dog, Red Dog, Red Eye, Red Eye, Red Dog, Red Dog. In this regard, Wang Fei can only hope that the Red Dog can play as a red god in the future, not as a red dog. After that, Wang Fei led a few people all the way, and the whirlwind defense line gradually disappeared behind him, stepping on the golden stone slab under his feet, and then looking at the giant magic array above his head that covered the entire sky, and the house building full of Western magic in front of him. Wang Fei smiled rarely. Wang Fei said happily, "Everyone, this is the new city Hutton Mar." Several people ignored Wang Fei, and several people were deeply curious about the city in this new world, and they were looking around a lot at the moment. Seeing that several people were very curious, Wang Fei led them to find their respective mentors while introducing the city of Hutton Mar to a few people. Hutton Mar is the capital of the Duchy of Belmar, a magical country with a long history. And legend has it that it was founded by a great magician named Mar, using powerful magic arrays in the desert as a free capital that advocates magical civilization. Hutton Mar is full of magical devices, and every year many adventurers, merchants, scholars, etc. from all over the world come here to conduct cultural exchanges or do business. You'll see most of the buildings in Hutton Mar are white, and that's because the builder Mar liked this color as a symbol of purity. So Hutton Mar's architecture remains that way to this day. The whole city consists of 4 town areas including Hutton Mar Town Street, Hutton Mar Central Square, Hutton Mar Old Town and Hutton Mar Back Street, and 4 player adventure areas including Grand's Forest, Grand's Forest Foothills, Moonlight Tavern, and Northmere. Note, the current version, Grannis and Foothills, Northmere. These 2 areas are not yet open. Led the Yellow Ape and Sengoku to meet the mentor Gloantis. The sharpshooter's youth went to meet the mentor Kelly, and then Wang Fei and the Red Dog went to the corner of the back street to find the mentor GSD. After everyone finished learning the skills from the mentor, Wang Fei took a few people to Fengzhen to hand over the task, and then a total of 5 people went to the mission destination Dark Forest. Fox wishes everyone a Happy New Year, and a Happy New Year to everyone. Because inspiration is a little lacking, let's change it today, and tomorrow I want to go out and inspire it. Thank you all for your support. 3. To see the ununderlined version of the novel, please download Philo Chapter 122. In the Dark Forest, due to the battle just now, several people have understood that the monsters here in Luolan's monsters are completely different, so they can't help but be a lot more careful. Wang Fei held a sword and walked in the front to explore the road, and several people such as Warring States also knew that Wang Fei was familiar with the game, so he silently followed behind Wang Fei, the old driver. Finally, the squad found the monsters again. Come, listen to me tell you again. Wang Fei turned to a few people. Sengoku and others immediately pricked up their ears to listen. After all, the old driver taught experience, which allowed them to save a lot of time to think about the raiders. Listen, first of all, the mobs here, regardless of level, HP, attack, and defense, are far higher than Luolan, so don't look at the monsters in the future with the same eyes as you look at Luolan, otherwise you will suffer a big loss. Next, I will pass on some strategies to you, which should reduce the casualties of your navy on this map. First of all, did the Minotaur see it? These Minotaurs are armed with axes, and there is nothing special about the attack, as long as you're careful not to be hurt by his axe. It hurts if you are hit. Also, be careful with that red goblin. It will unleash ranged flame attacks and deal high damage. That cowardly goblin with a white beard is very perverted in terms of health and defense, and it takes a long time to kill if it attacks in normal ways, but it has a weakness, that is, timidity. As long as it kills all its partners, it will be frightened, and its health and defense will be greatly reduced. Okay, that's all, let's go. Wang Fei waved his hand. 10 minutes later, several people finally eliminated this group of monsters again, but the price paid by several people at this time was also extremely heavy. They are currently sitting on the ground resting. This battle can be described as a thrilling fight for several people. These monsters not only have high attack power, but also high HP. A large piece of blood is knocked out if you are not careful, and because of the high amount of blood, the amount of MP of several people is already small, and often 2 or 3 monsters are consumed by MP. There are already few consumables in the early stage of the game, and the cooldown time used is also very long, and a few people can only use normal attacks, and it takes a lot of time to kill the mobs due to the large number of people. After resting for a while and replying to some MPs, several people continued to set off towards the depths. Look at the green light bird. This is the recovery elf in the game. As long as the team touches it, the whole team can recover all or a certain amount of HP and MP. After walking for a long time, he saw the recovery elf in front of him, and Wang Fei immediately stopped and introduced to several people. Really? Sengoku stepped forward and touched the recovery elf. The next moment, the bodies of several people were enveloped by a green light. MP. All of them were full. Great. It's easy to fight monsters now. Several people were overjoyed, but Wang Fei shook his head and said, "It's not me who hit you. Generally, the place where the elves appear, then the next monster gathering point is generally the Lord's house." The crowd was silent. Wang Fei smiled and waved his hand. "It's okay. Don't panic. Pick up your spirits and continue to work." After all the difficulties, several people finally arrived at the next monster gathering point, which faintly shone red from a distance, which was the symbol of the Lord's location. Continuing forward, several people frowned, because they heard what seemed to be some huge roar coming out of them. A few people were a little puzzled, but they still held their patience and walked deeper. At this time, the voice came out even louder. "This is a cow's snort. It can also be said to be a roar, but don't underestimate this sound. Every time you roar, it is a wave of sound. And the leaves on the big tree are shaken down." Brother Wang Fei, what is the Lord in front of this? Why is there such a big formation? Qingzhi went up and asked. Wang Fei pondered for a moment and said, "The monster in front of me should be the Lord of the Dark and Dense Forest, the Minotaur Behemoth. As for why it sent out such a big formation, I don't know. Forward, is there any strategy for that?" "Raiders, forward, let me tell you first, this Lord is a very large Minotaur, without weapons, but with great strength. It has a bullhead roar that can make people dizzy and immobile, and a large-scale pounding attack. As long as it sees the right time and jumps when it pounds the ground, it will not be injured. In addition to the Lord, there are a lot of mobs, so in addition to the Lord, it will be more difficult to clean up the mobs. That's all. Let's fight. Good. Several people responded one after another. After passing through the jungle, several people finally entered the territory of the Lord, the Minotaur behemoth. But this scene in front of you is a little something. I saw that there were not many monsters in front of me, as Wang Fei said before, and in the territory, there were only the Lord Minotaur behemoth, and a relatively small Minotaur, but the two cows were at war at this time. The Lord Minotaur was crushing the smaller Minotaur at the moment. Under him, two cows are XX would carry out the heavy task of reproduction. At this moment, this Minotaur behemoth obviously has not yet discovered the arrival of Wang Fei, and it is making a final charge on the bullhead monster under it. Stab. The cow roar that originally made Sengoku and the others a little puzzled also sounded faster and faster. There are two more. Don't worry, there will be. Filu reminds you, 3 things to read. Collect. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelist. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 123. The air was instantly awkward. After passing the hurdle this way, he finally broke into the location of the Lord. But what is written here? This turned out to be seeing the Minotaur behemoth in XX. Hey, system, what the hell are you messing around? Wang Fei kept roaring in his heart. Virtual reality games belong to the closest simulation to reality. An occasional mating behavior between monsters belongs to the normal category. Hosts need not be surprised. The corner of Wang Fei's mouth couldn't help twitching. Although the difference between the virtual reality game and the computer version of the game is really big, but this difference is too big. Occasional mating behavior? Why did you let me run into it? Wang Fei kept roaring in his heart. Brother Wang Fei, this is also designed by you? After not seeing Wang Fei speak for a long time, he asked, carefully forced to endure the anger in his heart. Wang Fei explained, yes, that's right, virtual reality games. What's so surprising about this? Monsters are in order to reproduce. Oh, that's true, too. Sengoku and the others nodded in agreement. Wang Fei didn't speak, because his embarrassment was about to commit. Ahem, that one. Wang Fei, brother, then we wait for it to finish before shooting. Or go up now and spoil his good deeds? I hesitated. Wang Fei rubbed his forehead in embarrassment. Of course, fight now. Don't you like to watch the Minotaur XX? No, no, no. Several people quickly waved their hands. Sengoku shook his head and said, I can't stand it either. Shoot to stop them. Try the water first. Oh, I answered. He put the gun back, and then a machine gun appeared in his hand. Sharpshooter level 5 skill grim machine gun. The muzzle of the machine gun began to turn. Clicked on a series of bullets shot towards the Minotaur behemoth. The bull-headed behemoth that was galloping at the moment was about to die, but suddenly found his fart. A pain in the steak. Then the bullhead saw that someone shot himself in the fart. Imagine when you are XX and suddenly you are pricked by a nurse with a needle. How do you feel? The Minotaur was furious. It is not only annoying and angry, but also angry because it was peaked at XX. Although it is a Minotaur, it is also dignified. He drove all his subordinates out of the territory, so that he could be at ease. But I didn't expect to be seen now, and more. This makes how it cannot be angry. It pulls out something, and then roar into the sky. The cow fled in fright, because it knew that the bull-headed beast was angry. The bull-headed giant beast stood up with a bang. That head was 10 meters long, and the momentum after standing up was really not small. Wang Fei's eyes narrowed, and he always felt that this bull-headed giant beast seemed to be a little different. The eyes of the Minotaur behemoth are normal black and white, but the eyes of this Minotaur behemoth are red, as if it has entered a state of rage. Announcement. The Lord Minotaur entered a state of fury mutation because it was disturbed during mating. In the state of fury mutation, the Minotaur behemoth level is +3, and because it is disturbed during mating, the Minotaur behemoth has not yet been able to complete the hair leak, causing him to comprehend a new skilled bull whip. Announcement. Due to the mutation of the Lord Minotaur behemoth, after killing, there is a good chance that an artifact-level weapon will be exposed. This. Was it also designed by the Wang Fei brothers? Warring States and the others looked at Wang Fei's eyes a little strangely. Wang Fei covered his face. You guys are enough. Kill the Lord. On the other side, The bull-headed giant beast lowered its head after roaring into the sky. Its eyes were full of blood red, and it had to kill these few people who disturbed their good deeds. That just shot it up. The young man became the target of hatred of the bull-headed behemoth, and the bull-headed behemoth's hood slammed on it, which shocked it, and then immediately walked in the direction of the childish. However, the three of Red Dog, Yellow Ape, and Warring State soon blocked in front of Kingsley. Kingsley, you continue to support from afar. After all, you are a remote profession. After saying that, the three of them stopped talking and rushed directly towards the Minotaur behemoth. Sengoku took the lead. He stepped out in one step, and the skill that the character can only learn at level 5 Tiger Attack was cast, and while stepping out, he reached out and hugged the foot of the bullhead behemoth and pushed forward, but unfortunately, the size of the Minotaur behemoth is too large, and the Tiger Attack that has just cultivated to level 1 alone cannot really throw the target that will be held like a computer. A Tiger Attack in the Warring States only made the bull-headed giant beast stagger. But the Yellow Ape also stepped forward at this moment, and there was a Tiger Attack to cast. After the two Tiger Attacks were superimposed together, the bull-headed giant beast barely fell to the ground, and then the three of them rushed up, taking advantage of the process of the Lord's fall to the ground. The skills were unsparingly released, and finally the three successfully snatched away the hatred that belonged to the child. After 3 seconds, just 3 seconds later, the Minotaur behemoth stood up again. This time, it raised its head and faced the sky with a long roar. Not good. Flash up. It's the control skill Minotaur battle cry. Wang Fei reminded loudly, but Alice, it was already late. The sound spread, and the three were stunned in place on the spot. Roar. The bull-headed behemoth roared again, but this time it pulled forward, and then twisted its lower body and flung it wildly. The Red Dog and the Yellow Ape only saw a huge thing thrown over, and then they were hit by the huge thing, and then the two were directly smashed over, and their eyes were black. I was hit by something just now? Why is it a little fishy? It took a lot of time to check the information, not to mention, there's still a chapter right away. Filu reminds you, 3 things to read. Collect, Chapter 124. The bull-headed giant beast turned around and flicked, a giant. Things sweep by, whistling sounds. The Red Dog and the Yellow Ape only felt a fishy smell, and then their eyes were black, and their bodies were directly swept out 10 meters away and never got up again. Announcement. The player Red Dog is killed by the Lord Minotaur with the skilled Bullwhip Whip. Announcement. Player Lightspeed Monkey Play is killed by the Lord Minotaur with skilled Bullwhip Whip. This, Wang Fei and Kingsley in the distance opened their mouths, but they didn't know what to say within the team's voice. The angry voices of the Red Dog and the Yellow Ape kept roaring. What the hell is this game? If I'm not mistaken, I was just pumped to death by a cock, right? Can this game still be played? Such a humiliating way to die. I do it. Wang Fei is also extremely embarrassed, and can make the Admiral scold such vulgar words. How humiliated they are in their hearts. Calm and calm. Now the main thing is to slaughter this beast first. Wang Fei changed the subject when the two heard this. Their resentment subsided a lot, and they stopped roaring. How to fight. This move is 2 people in seconds. Don't be in a hurry. Wang Fei just stopped, looking at the battlefield. The Warring States were still lucky, and when the bullwhip was drawn just now, he was far away, which avoided the fate of being pumped to death. Brother Kingsley, you continue to provide long-range support. I will first go up and pester this beast. Cooperate with each other, and strive to consume a little more of its blood. After Wang Fei explained, he also rushed forward and fought with a Minotaur behemoth on the Warring State side. After the Red Dog and the Yellow Ape hung up, he barely grappled with a bull-headed giant beast alone, relying on the back jump and better positioning, plus the maintenance of some blood medicine. The Warring States can barely support. Wang Fei's arrival greatly reduced the pressure on the Warring States, and the two engaged in hand-to-hand combat with a Minotaur behemoth, while Kingsley attacked from a distance, and it was not bad to cooperate with each other. As time passed, the Minotaur's HP gradually became less and less, and after another 3 minutes, it still had 2 HP left. At this time, the bull-headed giant beast raised its head again, and Wang Fei knew that this beast was about to roar again, and he quickly reminded, quick, Flash, this cow is going to start again. Say, that bullhead is indeed a roar. Invisible, but unfortunately, Wang Fei and the Warring States have long run away. However, I don't know if Wang Fei grabbed the hatred, and this bull-headed giant beast has already set its sights on him. The bull-headed giant beast's hood slammed and quickly crashed towards Wang Fei. Above the bull's head, 2 white flashes of cold light, and the target of the collision is directed at Wang Fei. Oops. Forget it still has this trick. Wang Fei secretly shouted that it was not good, and after 1,000 calculations, he still forgot this stubble. Looking at the behemoth coming towards him, Wang Fei knew that he could not hide anymore. Helplessly, he directly set up the katana to cast the ghost swordsman's level 5 skill block, Sonorous. With a sound of gold and iron, the sharp horn of the bull-headed giant beast crashed into the katana that Wang Fei was holding in front of him. The fire splashed slightly. The strength of the previous character was too low, and Wang Fei was hit and kept retreating, but the sword in his hand still did not put down after being knocked off for about 20 meters. The bull-headed giant beast finally stopped, but when it stopped, it was a fierce twisted giant whip swing, and it was bull whip pumping. Lying groove, this cow will even make a move. Wang Fei secretly cursed in his heart. He didn't want to be killed by this disgusting trick, but you want to hit me. It's too simple, right? Wang Fei said with a smile, without being controlled by the war roar. This kind of attack was still very easy for him to dodge. I saw him jump backwards, and then slammed under his feet and kept falling backwards. Buzz giant. The thing flicked over. Wang Fei avoided this attack without risk, but although he dodged the attack, Wang Fei could still vaguely smell the fishy smell that whistled, which made him almost gagging. Muggle, I don't know why the system designed this kind of thing. What a fucking disgusting. Wang Fei cursed secretly in his heart. After dodging the attack, he quietly changed a weapon. This time the weapon is still a katana, only this time, the weapon emits purple light. This purple light represents weapon enhancement plus 13. I saw Wang Fei scolding angrily after changing his weapon. Disgusting cow, since you like to take out this smelly thing of yours so much, then Liuzi actually let you taste what pain is. Say, taking advantage of the Minotaur's recruitment, Wang Fei rushed forward, raised his hands high plus 13 katana and slashed down. Ghost slash. The purple-black shrill grimace slammed into the Minotaur behemoth as Wang Fei's knife fell, straight to its lower body. Snap. This sound means that the ghost slash has hit the target after the purple-black light of the ghost slash disappeared. All the more embarrassing things present happened, and the Minotaur's body was eroded by the power of the ghost and gone to scorched black, and its giant things have also disappeared. Wang Fei opened his mouth, but he didn't know what to say. Sorry, your dick. Roar. The Minotaur behemoth let out a miserable scream. The look was extremely hideous. It was just a confrontation, and the cock was gone. The pain came too fast. Wang Fei looked up at the blood bar of the bull-headed giant beast. It originally had 2 bloods, but now it was cut by a ghost of his own to the point that only half a tube of blood remained. Does it really hurt? Wang Fei said embarrassed. Recommend a friend's book, The Warden of Qin Times. Filu reminds you, 3 things to read. Collect. Chapter 125. Whoosh. Roar. The screams of the Minotaur behemoth spread throughout the deep forest. The big eagle was shot away by Wang Fei with a ghost slash, which is an indescribable pain. Moreover, the ghost slash is different from normal attacks. Dungeons and Warriors attacks can be divided into 2 types. One is a magic attack and the other is a physical attack. Most of the physical attacks are melee real swords and real guns, while the magic attacks are based on the 4 elements of ice, fire, light and darkness, and mobilize these 4 elements to attack the enemy. The level 1 skills of the Ghost Swordsman belong to the Ghost God skill, and most of the Ghost God system is a dark attack. It can also be said that it is a magic attack. Elemental attacks have their own characteristics, such as ice attacks can freeze, flames with burning, light with divine attributes, and dark attributes are somewhat corrosive. Corrosion is characterized by continuous attacks. Imagine how painful it must be to see that his big eagle is covered by a black mass, and then begins to corrode like 1,000 ants eating and biting. To be honest, it is better to cut it directly. After the Minotaur behemoth was slashed by Wang Fei's plus 13 weapon, the amount of blood suddenly changed from 2 to half. This made Wang Fei feel a little guilty. Is this still a weakness attack plus critical hit? Wang Fei said, embarrassed. The warring states on the side subconsciously clamped his legs. Brother Wang Fei, you are really too ruthless. Be ruthless. At least it's about to hang up now, isn't it? Wang Fei muttered suddenly. The Minotaur behemoth roared to the sky again. This time, there was no trace of pain in its roar, but Wang Fei felt an even more crazy rage from its roar. Ling. Announcement. Minotaur due to loss of life. The colonizer. Painful and angrier at the same time. It mutates again. Level plus 3. Vitality. Defense plus 30%. Attack plus 50%. Announcement. Please kill the Minotaur within 3 minutes or it will summon 100 mobs nearby to the slaughterhouse. Groove. Wang Fei was dumbfounded. How can this be the case, brother Wang Fei? You have caused a big trouble. Yes, I can't beat it. I don't want to waste any more time. Sengoku and others spoke one after another. Wang Fei flicked his knife. No, this kind of lord is rare in 100 years, and as long as you kill it, it is likely to burst the first artifact level equipment in the game, so I will not return to the city if I am killed. Go back to yourselves. Several people frowned, and then said, well, since the Wang Fei brothers have said so, then we will accompany them to the end. Warring States nodded domineeringly and said, yes, how to say that? Lao Tzu is also a marshal of the navy. Are you still afraid of a cow without a cock? The hanging yellow ape and the red dog also said, let's also resurrect it. Wang Fei waved his hand. Don't resurrect first. The resurrection coins are very precious. There are only 5 per person in the early stage. If it really can't be resurrected in the end. In the voice of the team, several people were still talking and discussing countermeasures, but the bull-headed giant beast on the other side would not give them a chance to talk. I saw its head raised high, its hands clenched into fists, and its mouth was about to start roaring. No, this guy is going to start yelling. Come on. The farther you run, the better. Wang Fei shouted loudly, and at the same time spread his legs and ran wildly. Roar. The invisible sound waves are spreading, and the grass underground is shaking wherever the sound waves pass. Wang Fei's eyes narrowed. From the swaying of the grass on the ground, you can roughly see the range of sound wave spread. Ordinary sound waves can only spread to 20 meters away, but the spread range of this sound wave has far exceeded 20 meters, ran all the way to the border of the map, but the sound wave still followed closely. Wang Fei was already nowhere to escape. I rely on. This is full map vertigo control. Wang Fei was stunned. He never expected that this level 6 lord could mutate again and again, and his skills were mutated. Didn't I just chop your cock? As for being so angry, Wang Fei said with some grievances, he didn't have time to say anything to remind the others in the squad, and quickly changed into another set of equipment first and the next second. After changing into equipment, Wang Fei was also affected by the sound wave, and a strong sense of vertigo struck, making him stand in place and could no longer move. Kings He and Sengoku were not spared, and they were all stunned by sound waves. After successfully stunning everyone, the Minotaur clasped its hands together and raised it high. Bang! The Minotaur smashed down with both hands. The earthquake shook and the shock wave swept across the map. Wang Fei took a look at the blood volume of Kingsley and the Warring States, and with just this below, the blood volume of the two had dropped by half. Fortunately, it didn't hang up, and the mutated Minotaur that I hope will only knock on the ground, not even knock, Wang Fei said secretly. However, the next moment, the hands of the Minotaur behemoth were raised high again, and its movements were faster and faster. Bang! The ground trembled again. Announcement. The player Lashan Great Golden Buddha was killed by the Lord Minotaur with the skill Pounding the Ground 3 combo. Announcement. The player Cold Refrigerator is killed by the Lord Minotaur with the skill Pounding the Ground 3 combo. To see the ununderlined version of the novel, please download Philo end of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.